Daytona is that of the waves crashing on the shore. But each February, the crashing crescendos as the tide turns to a whole different kind of noise. The trucks at Daytona ready to ride.
Stock car racing was born, where the tradition now is being carried on at the new Daytona International Speedway.
It'll make the strongest man on earth cry when you win this race.
Daytona 500! I won the Daytona 500!
We are going to be able to go green in the inaugural running of the Daytona 250.
Yeah, that feeling never gets old, does it, Bill? Hearing those motors fire up and take the green flag at Daytona.
This is Daytona.
Whoa! Oh, look out! We got trouble. This is going to hurt.
Do you ever think you'd be in victory lane at Daytona?
Oh, I never thought so.
Bodine pinned to the bottom of the racetrack. Car length advantage.
This is victory lane Daytona. We're going to be here all night long.
Usually the trucks provide the first points race on this track, but Mother Nature had different plans yesterday. The skies did clear for a small window, but then the rains returned, postponing our season opener until tonight. Now, maybe 24 hours delayed, but look at what a difference that can make. It is cold, but the track is dry. The trucks are on, and so is the setup, presented by Polaris. Hello, everyone. I'm Krista Voda, and welcome to the delayed first setup of the 2010 season. And I know you can't see me yet, but you will soon. We are coming to you for the very first time from the newest addition here at Daytona, the state-of-the-art flag stand. We have so many shots, so many cool angles to show you of this impressive structure, and we're going to show you them for the first time ever here on the setup tonight here on Speed. And we told you we're delayed. That means the drivers behind me down on the track, they are more eager and potentially more unpredictable than ever. And that includes Kyle Busch. He is in the field tonight. This is his second race of the day. He will compete in all three series here at Daytona this weekend. But this is the one Kyle has been waiting for. This is his baby. He is a Truck Series owner, and that single decision caused a domino that really affected the entire Camping World Truck Series picture for 2010.
Last December, Kyle Busch announced that he would be starting his own truck team for the 2010 season. Since Brian Scott was parking his truck to go nationwide racing, Busch bought the assets of the number 16 Express Motorsports team. Scott's crew chief, Jeff Hensley, is staying in the Truck Series as the new crew chief for Timothy Peters. The Truck Series winningest crew chief, Rick Rent, is leaving Kevin Harvick Incorporated to become the general manager of Kyle Busch Motorsports. Also leaving the 2009 championship team is truck chief Danny Stockman. Richard Childress Racing named Stockman crew chief for rookie Austin Dillon in the number 3 truck. Kyle Busch was hoping to have a 3-truck team this year, but was unable to secure sponsorship for Johnny Benson. The 2008 Truck Series champion will now be sharing seat time with Lance Fenton in the Team Gill Racing number 95. Kyle Busch Motorsports' only full-time driver this year is Taylor Malsom. Crew chief for the 56 will be Dan Stillman, who spent the past year as Carl Edwards' nationwide crew chief. Malsom vacated his seat in the number 81 at Randy Moss Motorsports, which will now be occupied by David Starr. KBM's second truck will be driven by owner Kyle Busch and his Billy Ballou teammate from last year, Brian Eichler. Crew chief Eric Phillips is leaving Mike Skinner's 5 truck to move to the 18. Skinner picked up Gene Need from the Cup Series to be his crew chief and International as his new sponsor. Along with his longtime sponsor, Rick Crawford is also losing his longtime crew chief. Kevin Cowboy Starland is now the crew chief for the number 15, driven by Eric Almirola at Billy Ballou Motorsports, the same team that Kyle Busch drove for the past 5 years.
Some other stories to keep tabs on for the year and for tonight. Ron Hornaday going for a 5th title this season. Meanwhile, here at Daytona, Todd Bodine has a streak of his own, looking for a 3rd trip to victory lane. We told you the number 3 is back. Grandson of Richard Childress, Austin Dillon, the driver. Johnny Benson and Ted Musgrave, 2 former champs, back in the field. And some rule changes. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip will tell you all about those throughout the night. Well, you realize with all of that, we still haven't gotten to our front row, and it's a good one for tonight. Now, Ray Dunlap, Adam Alexander, they are back in the garage for again this year, and their socks have dried out, and now their brains are full of even more information than they had 24 hours ago. Ray, let's go ahead and start with you.
Well, thanks, Christy. You know, tonight is the beginning of the 16th season in the Camping World Truck Series, and in over 360 races, Jack Roush has had an entry in every race until tonight. However, Roush Fenway's trucks are in the field tonight. 4 of them have qualified very well, 3 in the top 10 and 1 on the pole. And Jason White, you've been smiling for about 3 days now, but it's time to go racing. Any extra nerves?
Well, I'm a little nervous, but we got a great truck. I mean, Roush Yates gave us a great engine. The guys, Doug and the whole team, Gunbroker.com team, has worked so hard in the off season. We got a great truck, and we're just excited about getting the race on tonight for the fans.
Jason is hoping to become one of the up-and-comers in this series, and one other guy dominated 2009.
And Hornaday turns the wick up one more time.
The real history is being made. Ron Hornaday will win 5 races in a row.
Ron Hornaday, talking about the knots in his stomach, will they increase even more now?
Celebrating for the 4th time in Ron Hornaday Jr.'s career. He's going to be a NASCAR Camping World Series champion.
No doubt it was an amazing 2009 for Ron Hornaday. We talk about that 4th championship, those 5 consecutive wins in the middle part of the season, 6 victories overall, but some changes at Kevin Harvick Incorporated since we left Homestead. Hornaday starting 5th tonight, so what's your biggest concern as you begin your title defense?
Just getting through Daytona right here, and I'm sure I just got to thank all the fans for sticking around. A day late, but we're going to get this race off. NASCAR puts on a heck of a show at Daytona, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
A number of changes over at KHI. Krista, Hornaday, the main reason they're still a championship contender.
All right, thanks, Adam. Hornaday's Drive for 5 begins tonight. And yeah, we're standing in the flag stand. There you see Hornaday. Here is where we are. And whoever sees the checkered flag fall tonight will see the view from this flag stand. And hey, how about this? I actually have access. How often do you see this on television? I have access to the checkered flag. Here it is, right here. This is what the drivers will see tonight. When Kim Lopez drops this checkered flag, she will have plenty of room to do so. 60 square feet here in the new flag stand at Daytona. We've got a lot more about this and the race tonight, so stick around. More from the setup here on Speed still to come.
Here's what's coming up on the setup.
The truck team just came into inception this year, you know, in 2009, probably about November-ish. We're looking to try to make this into something that's prosperous and that can go on for a long time.
Hi, I'm Austin Dillon, driver of number 3 Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet, and I wanted to show you what I do off the track as a freshman at High Point University. Even when I'm not at the races, I can come down here and race. This is a class that I teach.
All this when the setup returns live on Speed.
The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World, introducing the all-new Coleman Travel Trailers, now available at Camping World. And by Hershey's Milk and Milkshakes. Try a new way to indulge in Hershey's.
Hi, I'm Austin Dillon, driver of number 3 Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet, and I wanted to show you what I do off the track as a freshman at High Point University. I'm a communications major, and this is one of my future classrooms at High Point University. It's a broadcasting studio where hopefully I'll be able to play with the cameras one day. I chose communications because I felt it would benefit me the most with my future endeavors in racing. Let's go check out the University Center. This is High Point University's Campus Concierge. If I need any information on sporting events or what's coming up, I just come here and ask Ashley. Hopefully she knows the answers to winning at Daytona. Here at High Point University, there's some big race fans. So when that 3 truck rolls in victory lane, everybody will be cheering. Even when I'm not at the races, I can come down here and race. This is a class that I teach. All right, we've showed you everything here at High Point University, but I gotta go pack for my upcoming race, and my room's way too messy to show you guys, so I'll see you.
It's a good thing Austin is so young because he's needed some serious energy the last 2 weeks. He competed at one of the local dirt tracks, Volusia, 6 different nights. The college freshman, grandson of Richard Childress, is hoping to school the competition for Rookie of the Year. Ray is with him.
And Krista, I'm hoping this racing thing works out for him because I don't want you to come take my TV job away from me, but very little experience at this kind of racing, Austin. How do you approach tonight starting at the front of the pack?
Just try and take everything in and make the right decisions when they come at me. So I got to start on the bottom, which is going to help a little bit, but the 2 wide starts is going to keep everything bunched up. So just have to make the right decision when the time comes.
All right, we wish you good luck. The 3 truck starts 3rd and the 2 truck starts 2nd. Adam?
And Elliott Sadler driving the 2 truck, the first of 8 starts in 2010 in that machine. 26 start here at Daytona. So how does that experience help you tonight, Elliott?
Well, I don't know. I did find out that the trucks draft a lot different than anything I was used to here in the Nationwide cars or the Cup cars. So I learned a little bit the other night. I know I got a fast truck. Everybody at KHI has done a great job. So this Hunt Brothers Pizza truck will be fun tonight. I think we're going to learn a lot, but trying to get this thing in victory lane, that's our main objective.
Hard to believe, Krista, when it comes to Daytona, this guy's a Truck Series rookie.
I know, that is hard to believe. Elliott Sadler was a few raindrops away from winning the Daytona 500 last year. He will try to take the checkered flag in a truck tonight. Elliott, one of the many Cup drivers expecting a baby this year. Of course, the Truck Series is our baby. In 10 Daytona truck races, there have been 9 different winners. Unbelievable action you will see tonight. And calling that action will be Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and the guy who will make his 24th Daytona 500 start tomorrow, Michael Waltrip. You guys are upstairs. So good to be back with you.
Well, Krista, you're getting pretty close to us. That's about 100 feet from the best seat in the house to watch the race from, which we think we have right here in the broadcast booth. Phil, I think the big story is rule changes this year. What do you think the biggest rule changes have been up to this point?
We have a couple of them, really. The pit road rules. Last year, they could only do fuel or tires on each individual pit stop. They could not do both on one pit stop. This year they can do that. Fuel and tire changes are allowed on the same pit stop. That's huge. But the thing I really want to see is the double foul restart shootout style. I think the fans are going to really enjoy that. Michael, you were a part of that last year in the Sprint Cup Series about midway through the season. That really provide some action.
Oh, I can't wait. These guys are going to be on it. You talk about Hornet Days restarts. Just think if you put him beside people how he's going to go.
Hey, this racetrack is really built around memories. What's really your favorite memory as far as the race here?
Man, I remember the 2000 race. The first time they come there, I said, how in the heck are trucks going to race at Daytona? Oh, look at us. How are trucks?
Phil?
He's always had a fine head of hair. Elliott always asks me what kind of ointment he's got in it, but tonight it looks pretty clean. 2000 was an amazing race. Andy Houston went into turn 3 leading, and he came off turn 4 in 3rd place. Mike Wallace grabbed the win. Huge crash halfway through the race. Jeff Bodine in a fireball down the front straightaway. Guys we've heard of: 2nd, Kurt Busch, Terry Cook up in the top 5, Houston, and 5th was Kenny Martin. Kenny Martin, you say, who's he? He's a guy that was a whole lot like a lot of people back in the day. Just got him a truck and came racing, and that's what's so fun about this series. It's still happening now.
How about you, Phil?
2003, the first race we ever had on speed. It looked like Robert Presley had the race locked up. He was way ahead going into turn number 3. Rick Crawford made a run on the outside and pulled and got around him. And then Robert Presley came back on him, and lo and behold, Travis Quapple jumped around on the outside. They went across 3 wide. Crawford, Travis Quapple, and Robert Presley. Robert thought he had to race 1. He ended up finishing 3rd.
2000, 2003. Who knows? 2010 might be your favorite memory. You're going to have to stay with us. Let's go trackside to Ray.
Well, Rick, we're riding around in the truck here with Nelson Piquet Jr. We're about to make a sharp right-hander here, so hold on. Don't fall out of this truck. Tell me about your thoughts about coming to Daytona and competition tonight.
It's really amazing experience. I mean, the more I learn about the history of this track, the more I feel proud of being here, being able to compete, and being able to be with such a good team with Toyota and Red Horse. I mean, I'm really happy to be here. It's my first experience in a real NASCAR race, so it's just unbelievable to be here.
All right, we're glad you're here, and very little oval track experience. He's ready to go racing tonight. Adam?
Starts here at Daytona. Only one driver has gone to victory lane more than once. Todd Bodine on a 2-race win streak here at the World Center of Racing. How does tonight's truck compare?
It's the same truck we've had both wins, and it's driving just as good as it did for both those wins. So I think we got a good shot. This Tundra is fast, and you know, the thing about Daytona, it's such a handling racetrack, and this truck has always handled super. Mike Jr. and the guys have done a great job, and you know, we're starting back a little bit, but I'm not really worried about it. Just take our time, and we'll work our way up there and just hang around, try to get a win.
Looking for a little more Daytona magic. Bodine starts 15th tonight.
Thanks, Adam. I'm actually really busy right now because atop the flag stand, I can wave to all the drivers as they drive by. And Ray Dunlap, he waved right by as he went by, so it was really cool. So
it's
this is the best NASCAR. I know, it's freezing. What are you talking about? I'm up in the sky. I'm colder than you are right now, Ray. But I don't think NASCAR is going to be able to get me down from here. It's that cool of a view, and we're going to continue to bring you some of the shots throughout the evening here. But we mentioned Todd Bodine. Adam was just talking with him. He is to restrictor plate races what the Bump It and the Poof are to Snooki on Jersey Shore. In other words, the two just go together. Bodine is wearing the bullseye tonight, especially after his performance here 1 year ago. Presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by the Sponsifier. Visit ToyotaRacing.com today. Click on Design It, enter it. And by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less.
Startup teams are common in the Truck Series, but as they get older, they become household names. Kyle Busch took note of how Kevin Harvick Incorporated first started.
I've sort of watched what Kevin Harvick's done, you know, running the truck deal, starting it as his own kind of have fun thing, which that's what I've done with my late model team. I've kind of started that back in 2007, just something to have fun with, go race on some weekends, and then the more I got into it, the bigger it became, and from there, you know, getting into the truck program, you know, just kind of learning from what Kevin did and learning from what Tony did last year with his Cup program. Those are kind of the aspects that I looked into.
No crew chief has won more in the Truck Series than Rick Wren. Your driver now has gone 5 in a row.
It's unbelievable. I told Hornaday there when he took the checker, I said, we both made history tonight.
To put Kyle Busch Motorsports on a path to success, championship crew chief Rick Wren was hired as the director of competition.
Did you get that lower clearance? You guys about ready to go to the ground then?
Rick Wren was sort of the masterpiece of this whole project. If I could get that guy, this team would be what it needs to be.
I was really kind of surprised that he really wanted to do this at his age. I thought maybe he was just joking or tire kicking. Then I realized after a couple times of chatting with him that he really was serious. Did you get the inserts Loctited in?
You know, I don't feel like there's anybody else but Rick that I could have thrown into this situation and handled it so well. He built Kevin Harvick Incorporated into one of the best race teams in the Truck Series garage. He's done it for Addington Racing back when the 60 cat rental truck was on board. So, you know, we were just messing around one day about, hey, why don't you come work for me sometime? It's closer to your house. And I guess he thought about it, and it became a reality.
If I had not been involved doing startups before, it'd be easy for a guy to blow a gasket. You'd just be stressed out. You couldn't handle it. But I've done this before, so it makes it a little bit easier.
Just 2 months before Daytona, Kyle Busch Motorsports was announced. Job seekers flooded the phones looking to find work.
I remember one time I counted my phone log. I had 64 phone calls a day, 3 days in a row.
You know, we've got about 35 to 40 employees here that were unemployed.
After 700 resumes, every job was filled, but not to just seek a paycheck.
There are a lot of people in racing that have never been to victory lane. And I think anybody, at least in this modern era, knows if they can attach themselves to Kyle, you got a pretty good shot at getting to victory lane.
In any series, at any track, winning is what Kyle Busch does best. 2010 marks just the beginning of Kyle Busch's career as an owner. And at age 24, Kyle's looking to spread the wealth.
I think the long-term goal is to build into a successful organization here. It all comes down to sponsorships. You know, we know how tough that is now in the economic times we're in, and I've seen it firsthand and have dealt with it. So, you know, we're looking to try to make this into something that's prosperous and that can go on for a long time.
A lot of work going into building a brand new organization, no doubt about that. Kyle, the last couple of years you've been driving for Billy Ballou for free. Now you own these things. Do you drive them any differently when you got to pay for the repairs?
I don't think so. We'll go out there and give it a shot. You know, this hell of a good Tundra was good in practice. It was really good. You know, we were proud of the way it drafted and everything. So here tonight it should be okay. And, you know, we started a little further back than what we'd like to, but, you know, we're proud of the effort of the 56 bunch. So we'll get up there here soon enough.
And keep in mind, Kyle Busch had a teammate last year at Talladega. He's got one in the race tonight with Taylor Malsom. Krista?
All right, thanks, Ray. Yeah, it's going to be really fun to watch him. It's going to be really fun to watch all of these guys tonight. Right now, it's just really fun to stand up here in the flag stand. I've been waving to all the drivers, waving to all the fans. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to be able to get me down out of here. You know, one of the coolest things about this flag stand, it includes a 50,000 pixel LED screen, which can display letters 4 feet high. They're going to have messages across the board. One of the drivers tonight will have his name across here as a Daytona winner. Who will it be? We are getting closer to that answer. You see the fans exiting from the infield into their seats. They can't wait to go racing. Neither can the drivers, and neither should you. You're going to see it all on speed. We'll wrap up the setup next.
Kyle Busch has won 4 of the 10 Truck Series races at Atlanta Motor Speedway. But can he win with his own truck? Find out in 3 weeks when the trucks take to one of the fastest tracks on the circuit. You won't want to miss 1 second of the action, starting with the setup at 1:30, only on Speed. Be there.
Plenty of action still on the Daytona docket. Race day here on Speed, and then the Daytona 500 on Fox Sunday. But the only race these 36 drivers are concerned with is the one that sits right in front of them. And we've been telling you how cool it is up here on the flag stand. I mentioned that video board, right? You can even send messages. Right now you see it's Daytona on Speed. Look at that. Hi, Mom. Sarah and Kim from NASCAR, they're up here setting the green here on Speed.
This is the famous sand strip at Daytona Beach, Florida.
Well, it's always exciting at Daytona, Joe, especially under the lights.
250 miles of racing, that's 100 laps here on the 2.5-mile Daytona International Speedway. Experience versus inexperience. We're going to see a lot of clashes out there, working that all-important draft here at Daytona.
Beat and bang, root and gouge, swapping paint, changing numbers in the middle of the back straightaway. It's short track racing at 180 or 185 miles an hour.
My guess, we're going to see fireworks here very shortly when they turn them loose here at Daytona International Speedway.
As they move down out of turns 3 and 4, up on the 31-degree banking. Pace car has its light off.
Fans kind of cool right now. They'll be warming up with excitement real soon when the green flag falls.
It's the World Center of Racing, and the trucks are at the center of attention tonight. Welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Nextera Energy Resources 250 on Speed. Add the season opening date change to things that have changed in the Truck Series in 2010. A lot of stories to get to you today, and the two guys with their fingers on the pulse of this series are Adam Alexander and Ray Dunlap. Ray, what have you got for us?
Well, I'll tell you, Rick, you know, 22 times in this series we've had drivers finish first and second that were teammates. Now, 3 times that's happened for Kevin Harvick Incorporated. Once for Harvick, once for Newman, and once for Hornaday. But tonight, I think Elliott Sadler might be the guy who's going to add his name to that list. They have a brand new truck tonight. Starting second, Elliott Sadler in Hunt Brothers Pizza Chevrolet. Look for him to roll to the front, and Hornaday might be right in tow. Adam?
Ray, you mentioned Kevin Harvick Incorporated, and in 2009, Ricky Carmichael drove 18 races for KHI. But in 2010, he's running full-time with a brand new team, Turner Motorsports. He makes his debut with that team here tonight, and he does it at a racetrack where he's had a great deal of success. Top 10 1 week ago in the ARCA race, and 5 times he has won an AMA Supercross here at Daytona. He's off to a good start tonight. Ricky rolls off in the 4th position.
A lot of talent in the field tonight. Not only Ricky Carmichael, we have 5 former series champions that will take the green flag tonight to find out who will win the season opener in 2010. To get everything started, we go back trackside for our pre-race ceremonies with our invocation and national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Mainland High School Air Force Junior ROTC Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Reverend Victor E. Gooden, Senior Pastor of New Life Church Ministries, offers tonight's invocation.
Father, we thank you for loving us as you do. God, we thank you for these drivers and the pit crew. Keep them safe and help them do their best. God, we ask you to be with our troops both at home and abroad. Help them to be safe. God, bring them home soon. God bless America once again. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Nashville recording artist Travis Powell.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let's hear it for Travis Powell for his performance of our national anthem, and a special thanks to Pastor Bob Hadley from Westside Baptist.
Great crowd on hand to watch the season opener for the Camping World Truck Series. They'll strap in. We'll start the engines when we come back. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World, introducing the all-new Coleman travel trailers, now available at Camping World. By the Sponsifier. Visit ToyotaRacing.com today. Click on it, design it, enter it. And by DirecTV. To get the most out of your high-def TV, you gotta hook it up to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. It may be a little bit crisp here, but a gorgeous evening for racing. The high banks of Daytona International Speedway. Let's get you reset up. We go back to the flag stand and Chris Devoda.
That's right, Rick. I told you I wasn't going to leave here anytime soon. If you missed the setup, well, you missed a lot of cool shots from this flag stand, but you're going to see him in tonight's race. Also, you're going to see Ron Hornaday begin his quest for a 5th title. Todd Bodine going for 3 straight at Daytona. Some new faces in the field like Austin Dillon. How about some old familiar faces? 2005, 2008 champions Musgrave and Benson are back, and we've got some new rule changes. Rick, Phil, and Michael are going to be telling you all about those, as well as Adam and Ray throughout the night. And yeah, Rick, Phil, Michael, I'm getting closer to you guys. I can see you right now.
Yeah, we can see you. Actually, I think we waved earlier to Krista. She's just behind us down there. We're ready to go. We've been waiting, obviously, about 85 days since the last race. But how about the drivers? What's the mindset of a driver right now sitting in that seat?
ready. As ready as they've ever been. You know, yesterday was hard on these guys. At 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, they were convinced they weren't going to race. But 6 o'clock, maybe we are. It quit raining. They got the track halfway dry. 7 o'clock, no race. So it was an emotional roller coaster what they were thinking about preparing for the race. But now, all day long, they've been focused on this start. And they're ready, Phil. This is Daytona, by the way.
As Rick said, it's been 85 days since November. These guys have been waiting that long, so that one more day's not going to hit them. Some of them have been waiting their entire life to get on this racetrack, and there's no racing anywhere on earth like there is at Daytona, especially with these trucks. The big cabs punch such a big hole through the air. The draft is so critical here anyway, and it's even that much more in these trucks. We're going to see some great 2-3 wide racing all night long.
Greatest racing takes place on the high banks of Daytona. Let's get the engines fired. We go for the command.
And now, race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer for Southern Maryland Electric Company, Sonia Cox.
Drivers, start your engines.
36 trucks have come to life. The window nets are being locked in place. The drivers are itching to get on the racetrack. When we come back, we'll see the green. Welcome back. The Nextera Energy Resources 250 about to get underway in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's 46 degrees, uncharacteristic weather for Central Florida. 50% humidity, but no chance of rain this evening. So this one will get underway. Our starting grid will roll across the top of the screen. Starting on the pole for the very first time in his career will be Jason White, and on his outside, making his Daytona truck debut, will be Elliott Sadler.
Guys, let's take a look at our Z-Max track description. What a great facility here in Daytona Beach, Florida. 2.5 miles, you can see, and this really doesn't tell the whole story. Yeah, the corners are banked 31 degrees. Yeah, the triangles banked 18 degrees, but they don't talk about the bumps and everything that goes on in this racetrack, do they, Mike?
It's wide enough to get 3 trucks through the corner if you have to.
If they're straight.
Yeah,
if they're straight.
If everybody's doing what they're supposed to, but they're going to try to make 4 go through there, and it just won't work, Phil.
As the trucks roll off of pit road, let's take a look at our Hershey's race analysis.
36 great-looking trucks starting this race, 250 miles, 100 laps, a purse a little bit under $700,000, and the pit window about 35 to 40 laps.
In the Camping World Truck Series, we like to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers that we might not talk about all race long. So we're going to start off with, well, a young guy named Justin Lofton in the number 7 truck, right?
I think I saw one of the best points battles in the history of motorsports last year in the ARCA Series, and the eventual winner was Justin Lofton. What a great season it was. He ended up with a total of 7 career wins in that series, including a big one at Talladega. Now, I talked to Justin just the other day, asked him, what are your realistic expectations for 2010? He said, we believe we can win Rookie of the Year, and we think we can get a top 5 in points by the end of the season. Adam?
Landon Castle has been around a few years, Ray, but he's still trying to land in a permanent spot in the NASCAR world. Tonight he is driving the easy-to-install.com Chevy for Thor Sport Racing. He made his debut in NASCAR back in '07 as a Hendrick development driver. He will be a nice compliment tonight to Johnny Sauter and Matt Crafton, and if sponsorship comes together, we could see him throughout the remainder of the year. Phil?
Adam, I want to take a look at 24-year-old Nelson Piquet Jr., some of the 3-time Formula One champion Nelson Piquet. He was the youngest ever British F3 champion back in 2004, and then in 2008 he graduated to Formula One for the Renault team. He had a runner-up finish that year in 2008 at the German Grand Prix, a podium finish. It's a one-race deal right now with Red Horse Racing, but they would really love to make this transition to NASCAR racing full-time for Nelson Piquet Jr., and he will start in the 22nd spot. Mikey.
Phil, my guy's 24 years old also. His name's Brett Butler. He drives the FuelDoctor.com Chevrolet for Rick Ware. He took quite a different path to get to Daytona than Nelson Piquet Jr. did. He's been racing the short tracks in Georgia. He's raced all over the Southeast. A young man who just loves to drive a race vehicle. And tonight he's getting his chance to start at Daytona for the first time in that Fuel Doctor truck. And I know him personally, and I know how much he's looking forward to it.
We've got a lot of cameras around this racetrack. We've also got them in the trucks. Elliott Sadler, the Cup veteran, will be carrying one of our cameras, and he starts in the second position. The Ford onboard is carried by Rick Crawford, 2003 winner of this race, and he'll start 13th. The Toyota onboard of Kyle Busch will give us a perspective of what it's like to move up through the field, as he will start 16th. And the Toyota onboard of Todd Bodine, the two-time defending race winner, will start in the 15th position. We'll see if he can make it an even 3 here in Daytona. The green flag will come out when we come back. The fans are ready for the start of the 2010 season. And welcome back to the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. Tomorrow on Speed, before the Great American Race, we're there in Daytona with the ultimate pre-race show, NASCAR Race Day. There's no better place to get revved up for the Daytona 500. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, live tomorrow at 9 Eastern, only on Speed. Fox broadcast will start at 12 o'clock tomorrow, high noon, as they get ready to battle for the 52nd running of the Daytona 500. Let's head down to pit road for our Golden Corrals Who's Hungry for the Flag. We'll start with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, it's pretty simple. You just talk about Todd Bodine when you say Daytona. He's the only driver with back-to-back victories here at this racetrack. And the truck that he has with him tonight is the same one that he's used to win 4 times, twice at Daytona and 2 times at Talladega. How else is that truck finished? Well, it has a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth. In 9 races, I'd say that's a pretty good average. Look for the 30 truck at the front of the field. Adam?
To this point in our pre-race coverage, Ray, we have not mentioned the name Matt Crafton, but that is not an indication that he is not a capable driver. He is very capable. 2009, the best year of his career. He recorded 21 top 10 finishes in 25 starts. 5 different times he was a runner-up, and he finished a career best second in championship points. He starts 17th tonight. He would love to get back to victory lane, but more importantly, he wants to continue that consistency that made him a title contender a year ago. Rick?
Thanks a lot, Adam. Ray, we appreciate all the insight you're going to be giving us all evening long.
You know, Rick, we heard the excitement in Jason White's voice. I'm excited for Jason White.
Well, I tell you what, we get a good view of the backstretch. And Phil, I know this is one of your favorite shots that our director Roger shows us every week at a racetrack. That's the shot we're going to see, and right now they're calm. When they come out of 2 after the green flag flies, they're fanning out all over.
They're going to fan out all over this racetrack. You don't want to get inside this double yellow line, but you can see Jason White's career stats. 79 starts his first career pole. Remember, this is the exact same truck that Colin Brown had here as a backup. This is not the truck that Colin Brown got a pole with. This is the backup truck.
On his outside, Elliott Sadler starting his first ever race in the Truck Series at Daytona. Sean Murphy, you see a little bit of damage to the right front of that truck. When they're coming up to speed on their second pace lap, actually got into another truck, and there was a little bit of damage on that 07. Donnie Nurenberger, the other truck that was involved in that incident.
Guys were warming up their tires, checking their pit road speed, and somehow it didn't all work out right.
And that's at 60 miles an hour. And now we're going to
70. They go 70 around the racetrack and only 55 on pit road. Is that silly?
Well, we're going to be going 180, and they're going to try to not hit each other.
Haven't they proved at 60 they could do it? I think they can prove it again.
Pace car is off the racetrack. It's all in the hands of Jason White. Green flag in the air. We're underway with the Truck Series 2010 season.
Already pushing and shoving, Phil. Ricky Carmichael gets a good run on the start here and gives Elliott Sadler a shove down into turn 1.
That 3 Chevrolets ganging up on the outside.
Right now, Jason doesn't have any help. Austin Dillon's trying to scramble to get to the back bumper of that gunbroker.com Ford.
Side by side as they go down the backstretch. Elliott Sadler leading the outside line. Here comes Ricky Carmichael behind him. Now they fan out 3 wide as they get into 3.
Wow, those trucks are
trouble already. On Austin Dillon in it, as well as Johnny Sauter. The 18 of Kyle Busch is also involved.
98. Oh, look at this truck. The 10.
Jennifer Jo Cobb also involved. A big accident getting into turn number 3. Landon Castle in the 98 also with damage.
Justin Lofton, the 7. There's the 15 of Ted Musgrave.
Huge crash.
Trying to get into turn number 3. You see the damage of the Bass Pro Shop Chevy Silverado. Austin Dillon driving that truck.
Well, We crashed at 60 miles an hour on the front stretch on the pace lap, and
about 170.
About 170.
We did it again.
Had him hardly get up to speed good. There's Johnny Sauter, championship contender this year. Ted Musgrave, great opportunity here with Billy Balloon Motorsports. He has some pretty significant damage. Justin Lofton just about peeled the whole right side off that truck.
Let's work on both sides.
A lot of damage to that Bass Pro Shops Chevrolet of Austin Dillon. There's Jennifer Jo Cobb.
Jennifer Jo Cobb in that number 10 truck purchased from Circle Bar Racing.
Serious suspension problems on the right front with that truck.
Man, it looked like those guys were flirting with that yellow line, and I think a couple of trucks went under the yellow line right where this accident occurred, which could have led to it, Phil. That's, you know, there's a lot of talk during the off seasons, let these guys race, but darn, the yellow line's there for a reason, and we got to stay above it.
Ray, what are they having to do to the 18?
Well, they're working on the right front fender there, Rick, but Kyle said he didn't feel like it had any problem with the steering. They just got a big fender rub, so they're trying to get their clearances there and figure out what all they're going to need to get those parts and pieces. You see some very loose sheet metal right there. They may have to get some bear bond on that, but they think there's no damage to the suspension underneath that hell of a good number 18.
So a lot of work taking place on pit road right now. Let's take a look at how this happened.
First of all, they're 3 wide. They get 3 wide here on the back straightaway. You can see the 51 truck.
The 55
gets a run on Austin Dillon. Austin starts to kind of come over a little bit to block him.
They touch, and then Austin starts wiggling, and then he catches Johnny Sauter up against the wall. Kyle Busch comes along. The 15 of Ted Musgrave with nowhere to go. The 98 of Landon Castle runs into his teammate Johnny Sauter.
That was just tight racing, 3 wide on the first darn lap.
See right there, you see the 3 start wiggling, and then he's going to lose control. His left front tire was locked up.
Series champion.
Look at Kyle Busch all up in the middle of it. Does a great job of surviving it. Too bad for Landon Castle. Just came along a little bit late. And here's Jennifer Jo. She's going a little bit faster, but darn, you can't see, Phil.
Yeah, this is a view I like right now, where you're going to see Eric Almirola will pull out. He's going to be side by side with Austin Dillon. Austin kind of creeps over a little bit, and they touch, and it gets Austin to wiggling, and he just gets behind in his steering a little bit, and then the thing heads towards the outside wall, takes Johnny Sauter with him.
You know, when I talk to my young drivers or anybody talks about Daytona, you don't ever want to get surprised. You got to constantly be looking in your mirror, looking around all around you so that nothing surprises you. When a truck sneaks 3 wide on you on the back straightaway, if it surprises you, it can cause a problem. I don't know that Austin was surprised, but it almost seemed like he just got in a bind there and couldn't get out of it.
Let's get another vantage point of this. This is after Austin has already got up into the wall.
Rick Crawford just narrowly avoids it in the 14 Lilly Trucking.
Hit the outside wall pretty hard.
Yeah. After he already made contact. There's Nelson Piquet Jr. getting by, doing a nice job with no damage with that Red Horse truck.
2 trucks involved from Thor Sport Racing. Johnny Sauter as well as Landon Castle. Here we ride along with Rick Crawford.
3 wide ahead of you.
Wow, look at Rick. He's just
easy, back it down, stay low.
digging.
Nice job by Rick Crawford.
This is Kyle's vantage point.
He's all up in the middle of it.
I'm trying to move here. Check it right in front of you.
Kyle had a huge run and was trying to go to that high side.
There's Johnny Sauter. Extremely disappointed. Really looks like maybe a championship contender this year, as strong as he finished last season, and not going to be a great start for the year.
Got all the fluid running out of the front of Landon Castle's truck. They'll have to take that back behind the wall, I suspect, Phil, and try to maybe put an oil cooler on it, radiator. You can see these guys are going to desperately do whatever they have to do to get trucks repaired and back on the road. They know if we wrecked on the first lap, that might not be the last one, right?
Yeah, that's David Starr right there. We didn't even realize that he had any damage, but obviously with some left side damage to that Zachary Toyota.
Yeah, because he just went a lap down sitting on pit road while they're working on it. There goes the 98 truck of Landon Castle into the garage. Whether they try to repair it or just call it a night, it's too early to tell.
Remember, Kyle Busch was disappointed with his qualifying effort, and this is why. Starting at the back, you can get caught up in some of the problems, and that's exactly what has happened to Kyle Busch as well as about 8 other trucks. We'll be back. Welcome back to our season opener for the Camping World Truck Series. Our aerial coverage is brought to you by DirecTV. DirecTV, it'll change your life. Call 1-800-DIRECTV. A few life-changing moments just moments ago here at Daytona. Let's look back at the people involved in this most recent incident.
It started with Austin Dillon there, Rick. Eric Almirola made a move under him. And Phil, they tell you in the driver's meeting, if you go below the yellow line to pass, you may be penalized. If you block someone below the yellow line, then you may be penalized. And this is a case where when Eric Almirola started by Austin
Let's
Dillon,
look at it. Let's look at it and show it right here.
And you'll see there's when Eric starts by Austin, there's room there for his truck. Watch. He's going to make the move to the inside.
Third truck in line, the 51 truck. And there's a hole there right now, Mikey.
Right now, and he's going to jump in it. It's there. Then Austin says, there's one under you. He starts to try to move over, and when he does, he contacts the 51, and it causes a crash.
And sometimes the way these trucks go through the air, when someone pulls up beside you, it'll actually pull you towards them a little bit, and that may have been what happened to Austin, just enough to get him into the side of that 51 truck, and then he lost control.
You know, that's the first time that kid has ever been in that position. I guarantee you, trucks on every side of him, front and back, and you're right, running 180 miles an hour, the air moves you around, and when Almirola went underneath him, it pulled him over toward him, or he moved over that way, and it was just more than he could handle. It was more than he expected.
And that's, these guys had plenty amount of practice this week, but you cannot simulate this right here. You cannot simulate so many of these trucks going at the same time and going every which way.
And everyone wanting to get to the front just a little bit too early. We hadn't even completed our first lap. And this takes place as they were entering turn 3.
Look at Kyle Busch. He took a little bit of a blow there on his right front off of Austin Dillon, and then he shot up into the outside wall. So I'd be surprised if there isn't some damage, significant damage to the suspension, right front suspension of that truck, Phil.
Yeah, let's ride along with Kyle Busch right here in the hell of a good Toyota. He makes a move to the inside, has a great run going, passes a couple trucks, but unfortunately they're crashing right in front of him, and he really had absolutely nowhere to go.
Some guys some of these cats did a great job of keeping their eyeballs wide open and figuring out where they wanted to go during the course of this crash.
I was very impressed with Nelson Piquet Jr., my spotlight driver. He got through. This is the first time he has ever had to drive through a wreck like that in this type of vehicle.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, right after Kyle Busch left the pit area and went back to the racetrack, he said this truck is definitely not tracking correctly. They feel like they have some damage to the lower right front control arm, so they have gone to the garage with the 18. We're on our way back there here shortly to try to get you an update on all the guys coming out of the care center. Adam?
And as Kyle Busch continues to sit and wait, we recap a little more from the perspective of Austin Dillon. And immediately after the accident happened, Austin came on the radio. He was very frustrated, but based on the tone of his voice, you felt like he was taking credit for what happened on track, apologizing to his team. And there's a great deal of disappointment because prior to this race, a number of members from the Richard Childress Racing Cup teams were here, not working, just supporting, realizing how big this was, not only for Austin, but his grandfather, Richard Childress. Unfortunately, the night ending prematurely for the number 3 truck as he sits idle in the garage.
And that's got to be a lonely feeling. As Austin Dillon trying to kick off the 2010 season, his Rookie of the Year season. And now it's over in the garage. We'll be back.
It's Camping World's Destination Recreation.
You know, each week on Camping World's Destination Recreation, we try to show you some of the neat things that Camping World has to make your RVing experience a little better. But what do you do when you need service on your unit? Well, you come to Camping World because every one of their locations has a service center, and they've been the #1 service provider for RVers since 1966. Did you know that Camping World installs and services everything for your RV? And most locations have a nationwide collision and repair center. And now many stops have a new RV spa center. They can help do a hand wash or wax, exterior cleaning, window cleaning, tire dressing, wheel polishing, just about whatever you need to make your unit shine. There's also extended RV warranties available. And don't forget, Camping World installs and services everything for your RV.
And again, welcome back. If you're just joining us, Kyle Busch was trying to complete 550 miles of racing today, and it was cut short earlier, and it's cut short once again as he is underneath his truck. Again, a new owner driver in the series.
Huge lap on Rec 1, and this, Phil, might be the perfect example of how that yellow line rule is supposed to work. There's a hole there for the 51 truck to get in when he's going down the back straightaway. He gets in it, the 3 truck crowds him over underneath the yellow line, and there's a crash.
And again, that is why we have the double yellow line. You can't go beneath it. No one violated that rule. And we're about ready to get back underway. Our first attempt at a double file restart in the Camping World Truck Series.
Those 2 KHI trucks there, Kevin Harvick Incorporated, Phil, should be able to line up at the front of this field, you would think, right?
But we know with the draft the way it is with these trucks, they will not be able to drive away. They have Jason White right now right on their rear tailgate.
And a year ago, that 4 was also a part of the KHI team, but no longer. Turner Motorsports.
But affiliated with
That's right.
KHI. KHI actually, I think, hangs the bodies on those trucks, maybe even does the entire truck.
Jason White, the 3rd truck back. He was your pole sitter at the start of this race. This is where the melee took place at the beginning of the race. It looks as though we'll get through 3 unscathed.
Taylor Malsom, a nice early run going right now, battling for the 4th spot.
Oh, Max Pappas has shot up in there too. He's running around 5th or 6th.
Great qualifying effort for Max.
Hugging the yellow line. Looks as though that might be the fast way around the racetrack tonight. At least it is for Elliott Sadler and Ron Hornaday as they lead the field back around through 1 and 2.
Elliott Sadler was so confident about this truck. Talked to him yesterday, and he said he couldn't wait to race. He didn't care whether it was last night, tonight, or next week. We got a truck smoking back in the back.
That looks like David Starr's truck, the Zachary number 81, and he was involved in the most recent incident.
Yeah, he had some damage. He lost a couple laps on pit road making repairs. Looks like so far the inside line's doing pretty well, Mikey.
Yeah, but you don't feel you really have to handle. Look at Max bouncing up the hill.
Wow.
Luckily, there was a hole there for him.
Barely a hole.
That was my point. You really have to handle good to be able just to keep staying right down on that yellow line.
Mario Goslin and the TireMonkey.com Chevrolet got really loose through the tri-oval. He's about 6 back on the inside line. That yellow and red number 12 truck.
Last time we raced a big super speedway like this, Mario worked his way up to a 6th place finish in that Tire Monkey truck. I believe I'd get to pit road if I was
David Starr.
Starr. That thing won't, that's a tire smoking, I think, and it won't last that long as much as it's smoking.
Yeah, it usually doesn't get any better.
2 trucks out front, Elliott Sadler and Ron Hornaday Jr., and then they're 2 by 2 back from 3rd. So about 20th.
And just FYI, if you're sitting at home, Elliott Sadler and Ron Hornaday are fine right now. They don't have any issues. They'll ride like that for as long as they can. Jason White probably is pretty comfortable right there in 3rd as well. But you can see Carmichael, Amarola, these guys that have gone up to the outside, they don't like where Ron Hornaday and Elliott Sadler are sitting. They want to be up there with them.
They want to play a little bit with them.
They don't want those guys up there. They want to replace them.
Stacy Compton on the outside of Rick Crawford, running number 60, Crawford in the 14. Adam Alexander, how's our pole sitter doing?
Stage of the race, Rick, and the one thing they just told him from the spotter stand, whatever you do, make sure you don't leave the yellow line.
The last thing we want to see happen is someone get a nose underneath of you and you go in the wrong direction. They are baby stepping him through this thing, but you got to be impressed. He wins the pole and he comes out early in this race running with the big boys.
And how about the attitude of his truck compared to the 2 guys in front of him? We talk about that a lot. The splitter sealed to the racetrack for the 2 and the 33, and then you see the 23, and there's about 3 inches of air underneath
Well,
that.
and the further you go back, Rick, the more air is getting deflected over your truck, so you don't have the aerodynamic advantage of it pushing your truck down, so you're going to be a little higher anyway. But some of these guys set their trucks up to run an inch or 2 off the ground. Some of them set them up to run right on the ground. It's interesting. You can do it either way and have success either way.
Yeah, we see trucks running up front with both scenarios.
This is an unfamiliar place for Todd Bodine.
Carmichael's beginning to close some ground, but Amarola decides he's tired of riding up there on the outside, jumps in a hole there, and that'll hurt Ricky Carmichael. His pusher went away from him.
Got Stacy Compton behind him now in that 60 truck, and there's Dennis Setzer, the 46 truck behind him. Remember, Dennis was involved in an accident in practice with his teammate Johnny Benson.
Max Pappas fighting right there with these guys. Crawford. Some good stories up here at the front of the pack. Guys that we weren't sure were even going to be able to get to Daytona because of sponsorship woes or team changes. The majority of the field has a different driver crew chief combination.
There's like maybe 10 driver crew chief combinations, Michael, that were the same last year. So that means there's 26 different driver crew chief combinations.
We're talking about the changes in the rules, pit road, the shootout style restarts. The changes in the teams made me get my program out. I've been studying trying to figure out who's driving what.
One of the drivers involved in the first accident was the 13 of Johnny Sauter. He was checked and released from the infield care center and actually refused an interview request from us. So a frustrating evening for Johnny Sauter.
Such high expectations for Johnny and that entire ThorSport team. Finished so strong last year, highlighted by that big win at Las Vegas.
They're lining up front. 4 trucks have pulled away from the pack at this point.
Sometimes if you don't have anything good to say, it might be better not to say anything at all.
Well, let's hear what Austin Dillon has to say. He's with Krista.
Well, Rick, Austin Dillon is feeling a lot better than his truck looks. So much anticipation for this race that has turned into frustration. Did that sum it up, or how are you feeling right now?
You know, I mean, it's very dejecting. We wanted to go out there and run well. We had a fast truck. It just, I didn't get to see a replay of what happened or anything. I don't really know. I might have made a mistake. I tried my best to save it, but just not a good start to the year for the Bass Pro Shop Chevy. But we're going to be fine. We got a strong team, and hopefully we can get back out there to run some more laps.
All right, thanks, Austin.
See, I appreciate that young man stepping up there and doing his interview and telling people he wasn't sure what happened. He might have made a mistake, and he might have made a mistake, but darn, Phil, you can't simulate the position he got into on the very first lap of the race. When Eric Almirola took him 3 wide, Austin was in no man's land. He had never been there before.
Great early run so far for Max Pappas, running 5th right now in that Geico Toyota.
But you watch, as every lap goes by, these guys bounce up off the exit of turns 2 and 4, a little bit higher and a little bit higher. Handling is really going to come into play. I see them getting a little bit more and more out of shape every lap that goes by. If you can stay down on that yellow line, great, but it's not a free ticket. You don't just get to stay down there. You got to drive the heck out of that truck. Look at Jason White, a little bit up the hill there, opening up a door. Taylor Malton couldn't go through it, though.
Here we go again, 2 and 3 wide as they scatter out. Coming out of turn number 2, let's go back trackside to Adam Alexander.
And Rick, Kevin Harvick Incorporated has never won 2 races in the same day, trying to accomplish that this evening. Earlier this afternoon, Tony Stewart winning for them in nationwide competition. They're 1-2 on track. Elliott Sadler leading Ron Hornaday, and Hornaday just came on the radio and said, my helmet hose just came off. Good thing it's a cool night. He rides 2nd behind Sadler.
Mikey, how important is that?
Not tonight. You're fine.
Just to keep you cool, the helmet hose?
The helmet hose blows fresh air into the top of your head. It cools you down significantly, and on a hot day you wouldn't want to be without it, but tonight you're fine.
We definitely don't want Ron Hornaday to be a hothead out here, as things will heat up as this race continues. We're underway with the 2010 Camping World Truck Series season. Early on, chaos, but now we're trying to control some of that. Be the biggest racing fan you can be with Verizon Championship Racing at the track and on your phone. From nationwide and IndyCar driver meet and greets to exclusive peeks inside the Penske garage, right on your VCast phone. We're your hard card to racing nirvana. Only from the network with the most 3G coverage, Verizon. We're under caution once again. This time it's for the 48 truck slowing on the backstretch and actually coming to a stop. Brian Silas climbed out of his race truck. Not really sure why, but maybe had an issue that he thought was going to cause him to have to get out of it. While that was taking place, Justin Lofton looked like he might have had some mechanical issues with his truck.
Yeah, that's the number 7 truck. You can't tell that by looking at the right side. He was involved in that first lap incident, but you see the left front tire all the way down now on the ground. So Justin's trying to make his way around the racetrack without destroying that bodywork.
And that's about as fast as you can go and not do just that.
And I think it already has pretty much. How about this story from Donnie Leon now? He actually would not have raced yesterday
He had a good excuse.
He had a good excuse. His girlfriend's water broke, so he flew home to New York and had a baby yesterday and came back down here to race. So if there's one person on earth that wanted to see this race rained out last night, it was Donnie Leah. And what a great run so far. Started back in 35th, already up into the top 15, Mikey.
What a run. Won one of the most exciting races in the Truck Series on a 3/8 mile track. Took the checker 3 wide. How the heck you do that, Rick?
Well, you do it. Dominic Anthony is the name of their young boy. 7 pounds, 12 ounces.
He was pushing and shoving and battling just like he did growing up in New Jersey on those tracks.
A reigning modified champion, wheeling up modified champion.
These guys going to pit, right?
Absolutely have to. They're over halfway into a fuel run.
Again, this is a 100-lap race. We've completed 21 laps. And on to pit road, the field comes. Elliott Sadler leading this pack. Now again, because of the restart rules, we have the wave around trucks as well. And let's go to the pits and Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, realize there's some different pits in this year. Watch the brand new fuel can in the back. It is self-venting. You'll notice there is no catch can man here on the number 30 Geico truck. Let's go to the front of the field and check in with Adam.
Ron Hornaday had talked about doing 2 tires. Owner Kevin Harvick came on the radio, suggested 4. That's what they will get on the 33. They will also add some tape to the nose. Top of your screen, his teammate Elliott Sadler said something about 2 tires. Doug George, the crew chief, said nope, let's get 4. All the service is complete. Elliott Sadler, the quickest off pit road. These stops happening, the first ones of the night in lap 21.
Jason White beat Ron Hornaday off of pit road, so he'll restart in the 2nd position. Now again, double foul restarts when we come back. Elliott Sadler gets to decide on the inside or outside when the green flag flies. Get your NASCAR fix 4 days of the week with NASCAR Race Hub on Speed. Monday through Thursday. It starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Again, our second caution of the evening came out when Brian Silas stopped on the back stretch. The big one took place on lap number 1. That was as they were coming down the back stretch into turn 3.
Watch that 3 truck. The 51 of Eric Almirola close to the inside. Austin and Dillon in the 3 truck gets very close, starts wiggling, loses control, catches Johnny Sauter up against the outside wall. About 8 trucks in all involved, including Kyle Busch in his first race as a team owner.
Trying to skate through on the bottom was the 10 of Jennifer Jo Cobb. She had a lot of damage and now is out of her truck and with Chris Devoto.
Yeah, Rick, you saw that orange truck there on the bottom. She thought she was clear and then trouble. It makes it a little bit even more frustrating, but looks like the crew behind you is trying to find out if you can get this truck back out there.
Well, they said no. Crew chief said no from the beginning, and I don't know how to give up. I don't know how to stop. So I'm like, if we can go make a couple laps again, and it's morale, it's points, which are oh so important. And I don't want to give up yet. I want to get back out there. I'm so looking forward and so grateful for this year in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and I know we're going to be back at Atlanta, but if we can salvage a few more laps at Daytona, why wouldn't we? So I can't wait to see what they're saying over there. All indications say no, it's done. It was a pretty hard hit. It's as hard as I've been hit.
I know you're itching to get over there, so we'll let you do just that. But yeah, Rick, she's telling the truth. Right before this interview, she ran back into the hauler and said, come on, guys, take a look at it. Let's get back out there.
Yeah, another driver that wanted to get back out there was the 18 of Kyle Busch. They were able to get that truck fixed up and back out on the racetrack, but then they came back onto pit road and are now making their way back off of pit road and onto the racetrack once again.
Kyle Busch right now is 19 laps down, but he feels like he owes it to his sponsor, Hell of a Good, that came on board. You know, it was just really February 4th when Kyle Busch found out for sure that the sponsor that he thought he had for the entire season was not going to come back. Right. So he was very fortunate. I know he was very appreciative of Hell of a Good coming on board and partnering with him to run this race, and I know that's why I think a lot of the reason is he's back out on the racetrack.
Hell of a Good's a great partner for NASCAR. They sponsor races, and now they climbed on Kyle Busch's truck and part of the group that's sponsoring all the speed weeks. Ray, what's going on?
Justin Lofton in the pits down here, Michael. Just as that caution was coming out, his left front tire exploded right at the start-finish line. He was able to limp back around, but a good bit of damage on that left front fender. So the guys from the pit training crew on that number 7 are working on that Toyota and the left front.
A lot of damage to the 7, and again, we saw him with the left front tire going down after the 48 had stopped on the backstretch.
Looks like Elliott Sadler chose the inside, Rick.
Green flag back in the air. We're back underway.
I think that was a fairly easy decision for him, considering who was right behind him. Stay right in front of Ron Hornaday for about 70 laps or so, wouldn't he?
Yeah, they did it for the first 20 laps anyway.
Jason White with a good restart as he's challenging for the lead on the high side.
There's a little help from a guy that knows his way around this racetrack. Todd Bodine in that number 30 white Geico Toyota.
Todd Bodine all the way from the 15th starting spot up to the top 5, and now he's going for second, pushing Jason White to the lead.
Jason White takes the lead away from Elliott Sadler, and Todd Bodine goes with him to take over second.
I bet you Elliott and Hornaday said, now how'd that happen? Last restart went perfect.
I tell you, Todd Bodine pushed Jason so hard by air that they were both able to clear Elliott Sadler before they got to turn 3. Look at Kyle up high.
We've seen this before. Kyle Busch needs to get by trucks. Well, he'd have to go by him about 19 times to get back on the lead lap, but as a racer, he's going to go by trucks as many times as he can.
He wants us to talk about how fast his truck is. That's A. He owns it, so he's like, y'all look at what I got. Plus, I'm not convinced he doesn't think he can't pass him 19 times.
There's his teammate. He's going to push him by Eric Almirola, and I literally mean push him by Eric Almirola.
Remember, these bumpers don't line up. He is bump drafting with his teammate Taylor Malsom, but he's also lifting the back end of that truck up every time he hits him.
Taylor just upped his game a little bit, don't you think? Oh, shoot, the boss is behind me. I
gotta go.
I better get on it.
Step up this game once again.
Great side-by-side battle. There's Mike Skinner, the 5 on the outside. Rick Crawford, the 14 on the inside. Rick, a former winner here back in 2003.
That side-by-side battle was for the 7th position. See your trucks up front, top 3 in line down on the bottom. Ricky Carmichael running 4th. They start to line back up again, and everyone jockeying for position close to that yellow line.
Max Pappas and looks like Todd Bodine are up on the outside trying to make a little ground. That's the Germain Toyotas with Geico on the side of them.
Max has been impressive this entire race, and what a great week he's had so far. Raced his way into the Daytona 500 tomorrow.
Another guy that's excited is our pole sitter and now race leader, Jason White. Adam.
And Rick, they continue to coach Jason on the radio. They just told him what his gap was to second place Elliott Sadler, and then they said your truck pulls out really good, but you got to be careful with that. Michael, we know it's tough in the draft at Daytona, but how difficult is it when you're the driver out front?
Well, it's really difficult because you're trying to temper what you just said, Adam. You don't want to get too far ahead, so you roll off the gas, and all of a sudden the guy in second anticipates what you did, drives around the outside of you, brings half the field with him. So playing with that throttle, not getting too big of a lead is a very tough to manage.
Elliott Sadler takes the lead back now with the help of that 30 truck of Todd Bodine. And how about Max Pappas making the move right behind him in the 3rd position?
Great run for Max. Great week for Max, just like you said, Phil. It's the Daytona 500 that man's in. I think the 2nd Italian, he and Mario Andretti, maybe the only 2 ever to be in the Daytona 500.
And Mario did pretty well here.
Mario did pretty well all over the world.
Yeah, the world, actually. He won this Daytona 500 back in 1967.
Oh,
Jason
look at there.
White not able to hold it on the yellow line. Here comes Ron Hornaday to the inside, 3 wide.
Don't want to be in the middle.
Johnny Benson looks on the outside of Jason.
2 distinct lines, inside and outside. Here's Rick Crawford's Ford onboard.
These guys are mixing it up.
There's Nelson Piquet Jr., my spotlight driver. On the outside, he's raced his way up close to the top 10.
Comes Timothy Peters.
Timothy Peters can get it done whether we're at Martinsville on a flat half-mile or here in Daytona. He was the breakout guy of the year last year, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. What fun it was to watch him break out too.
He's running in the 4th spot at number 17, K&N.
Guys are running up the hill a little bit. That's a little bit uncharacteristic from what we've seen here in the past. Ron said, Hornaday said, we're supposed to be on this yellow line, guys.
But his teammate is running up near the wall. Now, here comes Todd Bodine looking to the inside, trying to make the pass. He brings Skinner along with him. They're going to hang out the number 2 of Elliott Sadler.
He has a slew of Toyotas behind him. He's got 4 Toyotas lined up behind him. One of those being Kyle Busch's.
Yeah, Chevrolet has never won this race in the 10 races we have been here, and it looks so promising early with Elliott Sadler and Ron Hornaday running up front, but here comes the Toyota parade.
Oh, and Mike Skinner decides he wants some of that lead. Goes around the outside of Todd Bodine. Skinner started 20th, and he's running first.
How about the 18 of Kyle Busch? He is pushing trucks around this racetrack. He pushed Timothy Peter in the 17 up to the 2nd spot. So Timothy Peters now running 2nd at Daytona.
How about Hornaday latching onto the back of Kyle Busch? He knows where Kyle Busch wants to go.
Todd trying to side draft with Kyle Busch. Here comes Hornaday up behind the 18.
Hear a little bit of a bump there. Sound like Max might have got on to Todd.
Look at Kyle.
Kyle to the outside. It looked like the 17 got a little bit loose. Maybe had to check up a little bit.
Look at these trucks bounce around off the corner.
Sideways. We run enough laps now, Phil. We're, like I said earlier, running around on that yellow line isn't a gift. You got to work your rear end off to keep your truck down there.
Side by side as they go across the stripe. Again, Kyle Busch 18 in that 18 is 19 laps down, involved in the incident at the first lap.
Not anymore, he's not.
He's 18 laps down as he goes by our race leader, Mike Skinner.
You know, you ask why he's out there? Because he's got corporate sponsors on the side of that truck. And also, he'd like to think...
Oh, Hornaday's in the wall.
Hornaday into the wall in the backstretch. Now Ricky Carmichael also in the 4, spinning. The 51 of Eric Almirola caught up in this. There's Johnny Benson in the 95 trying to avoid.
What a job by Nelson Piquet Jr. too, Phil. All
Second time he's done a great job. Look at the damage to our champion, Ron Hornaday.
There's the 15 of Ted Musgrave.
Both the Billy Blues trucks, the 15 and the 51, tore up in this crash. There's the 51.
Unbelievable. There's Donnie Leah. We talked about him. What a great run he had going early.
Same place the last wreck occurred.
81 of David Starr.
Right in the middle of the back straightaway.
It's amazing how the straightest part of the racetrack and we have accidents. A lot of damage to that Donnie Leah truck.
You can go from extreme high, his son born yesterday, to extreme low, involved in an accident at Daytona.
What happened?
Second to Kyle Busch Motorsports truck. Taylor Malsom also involved.
That doesn't look like that is as bad as Kyle's truck. Look there, Elliott Sadler.
Right front damage to that race truck.
Both the KHI trucks involved in this accident. There's Ricky Carmichael with a lot of damage with that monster Chevrolet.
We're not going to have anybody left.
This one happened up toward the front. Again, the 3rd caution of the night. Over 6 trucks involved in this incident. Rick Crawford also involved in the 14.
See his grill pushed in. Now the truck's smoking.
Let's take a look from the DirecTV blimp at what just happened.
Watch Hornaday now.
He's the first guy I saw get out of whack.
He's side by side with Skinner.
Oh, is he going to get a bump draft from Ricky Carmichael?
They get a bump draft from Ricky Carmichael, and it may turn him.
No, I think he had a flat.
I think he had a flat tire. I don't think Ricky Carmichael ever touched him.
No, it looked like that's what it was setting up to be, but Hornaday just veered to the right. I was going down the back straightaway the other day in my cup car and blew a left rear tire, and it just drove right to the infield. He might have blown a right rear tire, and it pulled him right into the outside wall. You know, so much.
Watch, we're going to see before Ricky Carmichael gets there, that 33 truck's going to veer to the right.
It's hard to tell from that angle.
It's pretty close.
But I think from the other angle, it didn't look like Hornaday ever, or excuse me, Ricky ever touched him. See if we can get a better look at that. Look at Neil. That's an amazing job Nelson Piquet did there.
Let's keep an eye on it now. Boy, it almost looked from that angle like there might have been a slight contact.
If we could look back at that first one and really see, it looked like from the first look we saw from it, Ricky didn't hit him. You can see the right rear tire's down on Ron's truck right there. I think.
Riding along with Elliott Sadler.
Keep coming on the bottom, keep coming low, 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 keep coming low.
Nelson Piquet slipping by there. That's an amazing job that young man did.
Good job.
Ryan Sieg getting by as well.
Here's Crawford's view.
Well, just right in front of him. Through the grass.
Hold her straight. Hold her straight. Back up.
Again, coming right at us.
Well, I'm telling you, from that angle, it almost looks like there was a little bit of contact, and that got right wiggling.
Let's look at what we saw the first time.
Yeah, this is from the blimp. Let's look one more time to see if there was any contact. Again, we're looking at the 4 and the 33.
He's going to pull up on him for sure.
I don't think so, Phil.
Boy, if there was contact, it was oh so slight.
Well, and I just think I think Ron had a flat tire. I really do.
It looks like right when the 4 gets to the back bumper of that truck, it starts to move to the right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so close.
Adam Alexander.
And it's always tough to judge what a driver says right after an accident because of the emotion involved. But Hornaday came on the radio right after the contact, the spinning was over, and he said simply, too much bump drafting. So he obviously felt like there was contact, and he got that same message delivered back to him from the spotter stand. Neither one of those guys have the benefit of replay like you guys do and have seen so many, but that was the word from Hornaday's radio, Rick.
Let's go back down to Rick.
Well, Rick, Mike Skinner was told to come to the pit road, but that message got delivered to him just a little bit too late. He was afraid that he was going to have a commitment violation back there, so he stayed out on the racetrack, and now they've kind of made their bed. They're going to stay there. But down in here in the pits, Todd Bodine tried to come down pit road, but he missed the entrance to his pit area, had to go back around, came down this time, obviously, just to stick some fuel in that Geico Toyota.
See a lot of smoke coming out of the 14. Ray was talking about the 30 of Todd Bodine missing his pit stall.
What? He just never turned in.
Didn't see the sign, I would suppose.
Not many onions out there on pit road, but didn't catch that one. Adam Alexander.
And Jason White has already made one pit stop in this cycle. He is crossing the start-finish line now, and when he comes back around to pit road, he will come down pit lane again. He's been very, very loose. That's what he said on that run. So they discussed the changes the first time they came down pit road at lap 33. It was a shock and chassis adjustment. They plan to come back down for tires and fuel. But guys, when you look at the attrition rate and the number of big-name drivers who find themselves now behind the 8 ball, it's hard not to think Jason White is quickly becoming a favorite. This guy's been good throughout the evening. He's set on the pole. He's proved he can do it in the draft. And right now, the competition for him is dwindling.
Yeah, he's got guys like Mike Skinner and Timothy Peters that have proven they've got good trucks, right?
Got a fire down here on Rick Crawford's truck. He just came in. They're putting the fire extinguisher on it right now. There was a lot of smoke coming from underneath the engine. They're aware now that the fire was on that Lilly Trucking Ford.
They may be changing the radiator. You see the guys, the radiator's been pushed back in towards the engine. These are the trucks that were involved in this latest incident. A lot of them, Elliott Sadler, so good early on. Ricky Carmichael ran well. Ted Musgrave has now been involved in both incidents. Donnie Leah had worked his way into the top 15. Ron Hornaday, our champion. Eric Almirola had a good truck. Taylor Malsom was racing up in the top 5.
Phil, I'm still not convinced that Ricky Carmichael caused this. It looks like simultaneously, just like you said, Rick, right when he got there, Hornaday veered to the outside. Now you would think that Ricky hit him, but it's so close.
And first of all, they're not in line. I mean, Ricky Carmichael's out of ways.
Okay, right there.
I think there was contact.
He might have.
I think he did hit him. You're right.
And that's how little it takes.
That's how little it takes is exactly right.
A lot of trucks
involved. And Rick, you talked about it. The bumpers don't line up on these trucks, and that's what Wayne Auten, our series director, preaches at the drivers' meeting. Think about the fact that these bumpers don't line up.
And Ricky had to say, I caused that? I mean, I just barely bumped him. And look at the aftermath.
A wild ride for a lot of trucks. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Cheerios, 100% natural whole grain oats and only 1 gram of sugar. By Atlanta Motor Speedway. Come see how NASCAR's big boys play capture the flag at Atlanta Motor Speedway, March 5th through the 7th. And by Hershey's Milk and Milkshakes. Try a new way to indulge in Hershey's. Aerial coverage tonight brought to you by DirecTV. DirecTV, it'll change your life. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
I could see our hotel from that blimp shot. It's right over there to the right.
Got a big view from the DirecTV blimp. Involved in this most recent crash, Elliott Sadler, Ricky Carmichael, and the list goes on and on.
Man. Just an innocent little bump from Ricky Carmichael to Ron Hornaday. Look on the outside. That's Ron Hornaday, the 33 Longhorn truck. Ricky Carmichael, the monster truck, right behind him. He's just going to try to help him. All he does is looks like maybe just nudge him ever so slightly, and it turns Ron into the outside wall.
And Ricky's probably thinking, you know, I've been bumped like that before. My truck kept going straight, but you just don't know what Ron was, you know, where you hit, where you match up, and it just happened so quickly. We tried to give him a benefit of the doubt and say he didn't do it, but he certainly did.
There's Ty Bodine on the inside.
Elliott Sadler's the truck you're riding along with.
Doing great. Doing great off turn 2, and then into 3, it's tore all to pieces.
There's Mad Max on the inside.
Look at there, a
bumping
little bump.
Todd.
Keep coming on the bottom. Keep coming low, low, low. Keep coming low. Perfect. Clear. Good job.
I guarantee
watch
you.
this now. We got the 4 truck following a 33 truck.
I guarantee you, Ricky Carmichael was shocked when he saw Hornaday's truck turn in the outside wall.
Watch him. He pulls up to him right now, and you see he's not exactly in line as Rick, as you said, but he's getting close to him right there. Looks like the contact.
Golly, and look, they were doing the same thing down on the inside, Rick, pushing each other. Right. They kept going the right direction.
Well, and I know that we're looking at something, they're going 185, 190 miles an hour. We're looking at it very slow, but it almost looks as though Ricky Carmichael moves just a bit to the left when he gets that contact, and that accentuates the contact and sends Ron into the wall.
We saw Kyle Busch bumping Taylor Malsom, his teammate, a lot harder than that, but unfortunately it didn't work. Krista?
Yeah, this one involved a couple of champions, former 2005 champion Ted Musgrave and our reigning champion Ron Hornaday. We've been watching it down here, so I could guess what happened, but nobody wants to hear me guess. They want to hear you say what happened.
It's going to be easy. I'll just blame Busch. He was out front, so I'm going to blame him. No, actually, we got a good tug, and he dropped to the bottom, so it slowed my truck up. Ricky got a good run and run into me. So these trucks, the bumpers don't line whatsoever. So I don't blame him because the lap earlier I picked up Sadler, and luckily he was fortunate enough he saved his. So you just can't bump draft in these things, and Ricky will learn that, but under our cost. But I hate to say, Longhorn, thanks for all the support and just everybody. It takes a lot of people, and them guys just built this truck in a week, and as fast as it was, I hate to see both our trucks out, and plus Ricky's truck we do. So, KHI, we got more work to do, but we'll go get that. I think we can get that Longhorn Chevrolet back out.
Well, I know Ricky's a good friend of yours. Are you mad at him right now?
Daytona. I mean, how can you? You know, full moon. No, we're all right.
All right, Ron Hornaday's in good spirits, so let's talk to Ted Musgrave. You were so excited. We're so excited to have you back. I know this is not how you wanted it to end tonight.
No, it's my one and only shot for the year, maybe, unless I get some sponsorship for Atlanta. But I'm telling you, wrong place, wrong time, both times. None of them were my fault. Kyle Busch and I both jumped to the outside, got involved in the first lap. So my day was pretty much over, but I was just sitting there riding by my own business, and then that second one came along, I got pushed into it, and the Hope for Haiti truck just needs a lot of hope right now. I think we're going to have to load it up and take it home.
All right, thanks, Ted. Let's go down to pit road. Pit stops, Ray.
Mike Skinner just came to pit road, Krista. He did not want to give up his track position, but his crew chief, Gene Need, said we just cannot take a chance of going on too long of a green flag run now because there's so few trucks left in the race. They came to pit road, gave up the lead for the 5 truck. Adam?
And Ray, just a moment ago, we heard Ron Hornaday talk about what happened on track, and Ricky Carmichael with us now. No doubt Ron felt like you bumped him from behind. He said no ill will, but that's what happened. In your opinion, what did you see?
I mean, definitely I bumped him from behind. We had a great run, and I'd bumped him before earlier, and I'm no expert at bump drafting, but I do know, you have to have patience, and I mean, I was on the brakes, you know, and no one was pushing me from behind. We just had a lot of momentum. He was a little bit ahead of me coming off the turn, and I had so much momentum coming. And what was weird is, like, he was side drafting, and he just wasn't perfectly straight. And like I said, I had no intention of slamming him from behind and going, and just, like I was on the brakes, and it still seemed like I was getting pushed, but we just seen the replay. I wasn't, and I feel horrible for those guys, and obviously horrible for our team. And it's just a shame, man. Things happen so fast. It's really not the speed that is the thing. It's how fast things happen at that speed when things go wrong. So I feel bad for him. I mean, dude, I look up to that guy so much, and the whole crew over there. That it was so weird. It's almost like when he was side drafting or whatever. It just wrong place at the wrong time for me to be sucking up right up on him. And like I said, I was dragging the brakes so hard, and it just, I don't know.
Tough start for Ricky Carmichael and his new team.
Yeah, dejected Ricky Carmichael in the garage.
You know, guys, I was watching that replay while we were talking to Ricky, and the 4 trucks on the inside were all bump drafting while that happened.
2 by 2, they come back to the tri-oval. Green flag back in the air.
Max Pappas leads at Daytona, and Nelson Piquet Jr. was second. One's from Brazil, one's from Italy.
That's a bit of a foreign flavor.
Yeah, that's awesome. Matt Nelson didn't get the start he was looking for. You know, you just have to really appreciate Ron Hornaday's interview there, though. I mean, he just got wiped out. We reminded him before the race he'd never won Daytona. He gets wiped out, and yet he still had the attitude. That's racing.
Yeah, that's Daytona.
That's Daytona racing. And it just goes back to what we were talking about. These trucks punch such a big hole in the air. Look at the run Todd Bodine gets on his teammate right there, Max Pappas. He has to back off. He has to drag the brake. There's Johnny Benson on the outside. 95 did a great job avoiding that incident.
Stacy Compton up in front of this field in the 60. We'll see if he can hold on to the lead. Jason White on the outside line in the 23.
There's not many of them left, but they all look pretty determined.
Stacy Compton is credited with leading that lap.
And oh, by the way, we're not halfway yet.
A lot of sparks still flying out from underneath these trucks as they bounce through the turns.
What a great story. Ooh, look at Max jumping around up off of turn number 2. But
Johnny Benson at the same time was doing the same thing.
Yeah, I would say what a great story it would be for Johnny Benson to come back. Ooh, look at Johnny trying to bump draft Jason White. And you see how Jason's truck's wiggling because Johnny back there pushing him.
How about Max Pappas making the pass and taking over the lead from that 30 of Todd Bodine? They've left the 60 back there in the 5th position. And he was just leading.
Kyle Busch
decided. It happens fast.
Kyle Busch is thinking maybe he'd get lap number 17 back here, 16 back.
You know, amazingly enough, we talked about all of the storylines early on in our setup and at the beginning of our broadcast. And I think someone mentioned, you know, we haven't heard from Matt Crafton yet, who was second in the points a year ago. It seems like we haven't heard from Matt Crafton again through this broadcast, but he might be doing this on purpose.
Yeah, that may be intentional. Just about the whole race, he's kind of fallen back a little bit, just outside of that lead draft, just right along all by himself. He knows that truck will pull up if he needs it to. He knows we're probably going to get another caution flag, and it may be a smart race. We saw Bobby Hamilton do it
we've
in
seen
2005.
This before.
Wouldn't you say decent strategy so far, the way the race has played out?
We've had 16 different trucks of the 36 starters involved in accidents already. 16 different trucks.
Yeah.
Some of them twice.
Yeah.
15 and 81 were involved.
Oh, look at
Max is sideways.
Max Pappas up the racetrack. Todd Bodine able to maneuver around the truck going by him on the high side, and so Max Pappas has his hands full right now.
It's been an adventure, I think, for Max. Every time I look over there in turn 2, he's jumping. It looks like maybe he touched the apron this time. Let's see if we can watch. Watch Max now deny. He got sideways, and that's why he got down on the apron.
Yeah, he was spun out. He luckily saved it. Great job by Max, and a great job by Todd Bodine not running in the back of him.
Or hitting the 5 truck.
Timothy Peters is out in front of the field at Daytona International Speedway.
Well, it won't be long till that 18 trunk is out front. Now he's out. He's 18 laps down now. He's soon to be 17 down when he goes ahead and gets by Timothy here.
Look at him. It's so impressive to watch Kyle Busch handle a truck or a car around this racetrack, or any racetrack for that matter.
It's impressive for us to watch. Timothy Peters probably isn't so impressed right at the moment. Getting pushed and beat by a guy 17 laps down.
How about this guy's coming after me?
How about that truck inside line, third in line? The 46 of Dennis Setzer.
And my tire monkey is here.
That's right, TireMonkey.com.
He's here.
Mario Goslin.
He's actually here.
He's all up in there.
Season.
Oh.
How about J.J. Yaley in that 01 truck? Brand new race team having a good ride.
Just in front of that 12, J.J. Yaley. The 5 of Mike Skinner showed his strength early on in this race. He's still fighting in the top 10.
These guys don't want to let Kyle Busch have his lap back.
No, they really don't. But
they didn't like the way that was shaping up.
If somebody was smart, they would latch onto the back of that 18 truck, because I'm quite certain he wants to get up front.
So the field comes down the back stretch, and again, chaos is somewhat calm for now. It has been a wild ride for 16 different trucks. They're all pointed in the right direction for now. Looking for a stock car fantasy game? Log on to speedfantasyracing.com. Play in your own group or join the overall game for cash prizes. Register now at speedfantasyracing.com.
We're in.
You can take on the truck team. That's us.
Yeah, we've made our picks for tomorrow.
Yep.
We can't tell everybody what they are. I mean,
we don't want to give away the strategy. How about the 30 of Todd Bodine, a 2-time defending race winner, out in front once again.
Still got some solid competition there, though, Phil. Mike Skinner, a very fast truck. Timothy Peters looks like he's all set to make a run on these guys. And look at our pole sitter, Jason White, right there in second spot.
Max Pappas has got the number 9 Geico back under control. That Toyota Tundra was a little bit of a handful earlier, but he's fallen back in line.
Nelson Piquet Jr., my spotlight driver, battling for a top 5 run. Mike Skinner gets by him for that 5th position right now. Now he's side by side with Tire Monkey Mario Goslin in the 12.
And remember, the hell of a good number 18 Toyota Tundra of Kyle Busch is 18 laps down to this field, but he's out there racing. Because that's what he is. He's a racer. He doesn't want to sit in the garage or have to do anything to that truck or call it an early night. He wants to be on this racetrack racing.
So much effort and time has been put into that race team, building it. Rick Wren, the director of competition, came over from Ron Hornaday's championship winning team and put a couple great trucks together here. They both were so fast, and unfortunately both have been involved in incidents.
What a big run that K&N Toyota Tundra of Timothy Peters has. We see the cross flags. We're at the halfway point of this one.
From that brand new flag stand. Looks like about 8 stories up above the racetrack.
Has an elevator to get to it.
And it has a roll cage around it. I feel pretty good setting up there.
There's my guy right there. Nelson Piquet Jr. had a great run going last Saturday in the ARCA Series race. Had trouble late, was running up in the top 5. Doing a terrific job running up in the top 10, drafting on Dennis Setzer, a 3-time runner-up in this truck series.
Taylor Balsam in the 56 down on the bottom of the racetrack. He was involved in an incident. We've got a caution one more time coming out in turn number 2. We've got an issue. Slow race truck.
I blew a right front tire.
That looks like Norm Benning's truck.
I believe in the 57.
57 truck. Norm was running around here in the top 20 on the lead lap.
Just as we had passed the halfway point, and our 4th caution has come out.
Ooh, he got up into the wall too. Blew a tire and scrubbed that safer barrier down there in turn 2.
We're getting close to making it all the way. Are we
35 to 40 laps, and we're just halfway, so we have 50 laps to go, so they cannot make it the rest of the way.
Aaron's lucky dog,
Ryan Sieg, getting a lap back on the field. Look at that crowd, man.
Awesome.
Welcome back to the Nextera Energy Resources 250. Pit stops just taking place. Ray, give us an update.
Todd Bodine, the first one down pit road. He had to come down and put tires on. Mike Skinner right beside him had put tires on the last time down, so he got fuel only. Bodine's pit stop just a little bit longer. Todd let him in. We'll see where he lined back up on the exit there. Let's check in with Adam.
The 23 of Jason White running second when the caution came out. They are in tire conservation mode. Only one set left. So Doug Howe said, we are going to save him. Come in for fuel only. He barely beat Timothy Peters off the pit lane. Your new leader, Jason White, after a little bit of strategy there.
Still doesn't get these guys in their pit window. Still will have to make one more pit stop.
The blue oval back in front of the field. Once again, Jason White brought them to the green flag to kick the season off. And now he's back leading laps at Daytona. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. The field is starting to line up going down the backstretch.
Really, they've been keeping an eye on my spotlight driver. There he is right there, Nelson Piquet Jr. And what great bloodlines Nelson Piquet Jr. has. His father, a three-time Formula One champion, one of 8 to win at least 3 or more championships. He won his championships back in the 80s. There's Nelson Piquet Sr. right there. 204 starts, 23 wins in the F1 series, 60 podium finishes, top 3 finishes, almost 1 out of 3.
I grew up watching him race those Formula One cars back in the day, and to see his son here, spotlight guy.
They're doing a nice job. Again, had a great run going last week in the ARCA race, was running up well into the top 10.
My spotlight driver, Brett Butler, is running up in the top 10 as well. He's 9th. Came by 9th last time in the FuelDoctor.com truck. So our guys are doing good.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Again, we have had 4 cautions. We're getting ready for the restart. 16 different trucks have been involved in accidents this evening. Green flag back in the air. Jason White on the inside, Timothy Peters on the outside.
Todd Bodine on the outside pushing Timothy Peters. Mike Skinner on the inside pushing Jason White.
See that neon green truck, the yellow truck of Matt Crafton? He's starting to creep a little bit closer to the front. He knows we're past halfway. The field's been narrowed down quite a lot. You think he's comfortable to run up there now?
I think he thinks that maybe most of the wrecking is done.
I think there's one more.
there might be.
I said most of the wrecking's done.
You're right.
Right.
Hey guys, just to give you an update on Timothy Peters on that last round of pit stops, they did fuel only. That helped him get in that position to be up front, and he and Mike Skinner have communicated back and forth through their spotters saying, I think these 2 trucks go together pretty well. Let's hook up and see if we can get to the front.
As oftentimes happen, you can have a plan like that and somebody gets in between and it doesn't work. Right now, Timothy Peters on the outside. He has Todd Bodine right behind him pushing him. Mike Skinner now on the inside behind Jason White.
Todd Bodine's on board looking forward. There's only 4 trucks in front of him.
Look at Mike Skinner pulled up, saw that Timothy Peters was coming, pulled up in front of Timothy Peters to jump in that outside lane.
Jason White not sure which direction to go right now, if he needed to block early on or hold to the yellow line on the bottom. He got a pretty good shove from Max Pappas and still battling for that lead with Mike Skinner.
Looked like he wanted to drift up there in front of Skinner, but then decided to stay down on the low side, and looked like it was going to work for him, but that outside line's got a good run. Looks like Skinner will lead.
How about teammates back about 3 or 4 rows back? Johnny Benson, 95 on the outside. The 46 of Dennis Setzer on the inside. Brand new race team, Team Gill Racing.
Gil Fenton involved in that race organization. The 23s drop back to the 4th spot now, but here comes that yellow number 88 of Matt Crafton, Ray.
And Rick, he's a little worried about waiting too late to get to the front, but as you guys speculated earlier, it was definitely a strategy move for him to get away from that big front group. And I walked down and asked Bud Hafele, his crew chief, is this on purpose? He said, absolutely. We wiped out 2 trucks on the very first lap from Thorsport, so we want to keep this one in and get to the finish. So Crafton been hanging back there in the back, but now Matt getting a little antsy. He said, I think maybe we better go see if we need to get to the front and see if one more pit stop we need any adjustments.
he's got a great truck right in front of him, and Kyle Busch. So if he and Kyle Busch would work together, they could make their way to the front. Again, Kyle Busch being scored 18 laps down.
Matt Crafton has never had a top 5 finish here at Daytona. He's had a couple 8th place finishes.
You know, Chevrolet's never won here in Daytona, and it's not looking great tonight either, is it?
Right now, Matt Crafton is the leading Chevrolet. Chevrolets were so strong early with Hornaday and Elliott Sadler.
Ty Bodine gets a little squirrely in the middle of turns.
Sideways.
3 and 4 there.
It looks like
flat tire.
He's got a flat tire on that number 30, or that's the way it looks. He's slowing way down. Matt Crafton has to slow behind him as he slows down. The 6 of Donnie Neuenberger goes right down pit road.
And that's legal if Donnie will slow his speed down.
We saw Carl Edwards do that back in 2004, came back and won the race. Donnie Neuenberger's going, wow, what a ride.
There's Ty Bodine's casing from his tire.
What a great job by Ty Bodine to get to pit road. That was his goal. But what a great job by Donnie Neuenberger to use that pit road in order to keep from causing a wreck.
Right.
Sometimes it just works out right, guys, and Todd says, get ready, here I come. He rolled in, got tires on that one. They'll go back to the racetrack, and it looks like he may be able to stay on the lead lap.
How about Johnny Benson out front right there, our 2008 champion. Oh, Skinner wiggling coming off the corner.
Everybody's wiggling. It's a job out there. These trucks are a handful.
Johnny Benson, what a run he is having. How about the ride that Donnie Neuenberger had? Now that was legal. NASCAR has told them if you get forced onto pit road, all you have to do is slow your pace down. Just don't maintain your pace. Slow your pace down until you get back out on the racetrack, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, NASCAR said that was just perfectly fine. Nice job.
And you know what you like is Donnie was heads up. He saw issues. He knew that was an option, and he took it. Great job.
There weren't many other options than that one, though. Going that speed.
Yeah, the grass may have been an option. That's not a good one. We've seen that happen a couple times this week.
The high line has our leader, Johnny Benson, in the number 95 back in front. Again, the 18 is 18 laps down.
Johnny's getting all loose up there, too.
Yeah, these trucks are really wiggling all over the racetrack. They're a handful. There's no question about it.
Mike Skinner running second, just behind the 95. The 17 of Timothy Peters running third. Take another look at what happened to that 30 on the right side of your screen.
Todd realizes he has a flat tire. He jumps up to the high side. Matt Crafton gets hung in behind him, and then Donnie Neuenberger comes along there and has, as you mentioned, has absolutely nowhere to go but down pit road.
And then Todd's tire came off right as he was getting to the commitment line on pit road.
Carcass of the tire comes off.
He was running in the 4th position when that happened. Now he's being scored 18th. Ray.
Johnny Benson said on the radio just recently that maybe they've got the front end of this truck just a little bit too low. As he rolls through the bumps in the center of the corner, he said it's really a handful, jumping around all through the center of the corner.
The main thing about Ty Bodine's move there, Rick, he got right to pit road, and he stayed on the lead lap. He's about to go a lap down. These trucks are gaining on him quickly, but then he'll be in a position to get the Aaron's lucky dog. So he saved himself at least a lap by getting to pit road the way he did. It was a little bit hairy there for a couple of guys, but for Todd, it was the right move to make.
And really still in contention for this win.
Certainly.
Closing rate. So amazing. Oh, Mike Skinner gets wild. He gets into the outside wall, trying to keep it off the inside line. He goes into the outside wall. Jason White slows and looks like there was no contact, but a very close call for him. The caution has come out once again.
Back straightaway.
Back straightaway.
Going straight.
Going straight. Straightest part of the racetrack. Looks like Jason White might have got into the outside wall ever so slightly.
Just a couple trucks involved in this one. We saw the 39 of Ryan Sieg making some contact with one of the trucks out on the racetrack. But how about Mike Skinner? Such a strong race truck tonight, and this is the way it's going to end.
We had more trucks to the carnage.
Bump drafting.
Yep. Timothy Peters pulls up to the back bumper.
Gets a hold of him and doesn't let him go.
Yep.
Into the wall and then right back into the wall, and then coming in here, the 39 is trying to stop.
Oh, both those guys. Jason White gets into the outside wall. Looked like lightly, though. He might be okay, but he definitely got into the wall.
There's another view here from the
now, do you see
turn 3 camera.
You see how different what Ricky Carmichael did to Ron was than that. You could tell Timothy Peters got a hold to Mike and he just didn't let him go. That's a bad mistake.
Lifted the back end off the ground. I mean, that was what happened with Mike Skinner here. Oh, how close for the 12 of Mario Goslin, just clearing that.
You know, you wish that these drivers could be up here and watch what we watch, or see the replays, because I'm telling you, if they would have seen the replays with Ron Hornaday's incident, this incident would have never happened.
Oh, he just watch. You can see how this looks so much different than the last time we had this problem on the back straight. We can see how long they're tied together, and it just knocks Mike right out of the way.
And guys, remember, Timothy Peters is trying to help Mike Skinner. He's not trying to hurt him. He's not trying to turn him around. He's trying to help him.
That looked like pretty significant hit for Jason White too, Phil, from that blimp shot. Bounced off that wall pretty good up there in 3 and 4.
Mike Skinner running in the 2nd position when that accident occurred. Aaron's lucky dog goes to Eric Almirola in the 51 truck. You see how bandaged up that race truck is.
I think that'll put Eric back on the lead lap.
And now on to pit road. More than likely the final stop of the night, or could be the final stop, right?
Yeah, the 30 is going to get fuel right here, guys, but they still have a set of sticker tires in the pits here, so they definitely do not believe that this will be their last pit of the night. They think they want to try to come in with about 25 or 30 laps to go, so another set of stickers down here for Todd Bodine.
Todd Bodine's flat tire, green flag pit stop has worked out to where now he just gets a little bit of gas. He's going to get some good track position. Adam, what's happening down there?
And Max Pappas came down pit road. It was fuel only for him, and you can see in your screen Jason White, who did get a little bit of damage on that accident over on the back straightaway. He's going to get 4 tires. The damage not severe. They will also top off the fuel tank. 37 laps to go. If there's no green-white checker, they are in their window to go the distance.
And a great point to bring up there too, Adam. 3 attempts at a green-white checker finish. The reason we're under our 5th caution of the night. That 5 on the outside cannot continue going straight when the 17 lifts his rear tires off the ground. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. The Nextera Energy Resources 250 under the 5th caution of the day. Well, if you haven't been around a television set all day long, let us get you caught up as to what has taken place at this famed racing facility. Earlier, during the daylight hours, the Nationwide Series involved in some melees early on.
That's the 61 of Josh Wise. He got turned into the wall. There's Danica Patrick doing a nice job in her Nationwide debut.
Yeah, she
gets involved.
Falling back early in the going, but snuck up into the top 20.
Another big one here. That's Dale Jr. in the 88, upside down.
Greg Biffle involved. Brendan Gaughan involved.
See Joe Nemechek coming in there getting a part of it.
The last lap, the 18 of Kyle Busch. They're 3 wide. He gets a little squirrely.
Gets turned around, catches Brad Keselowski. That's the daytime portion of this doubleheader.
Tony Stewart wins 5 out of 6. Can you believe that?
Lap number 1 for the Camping World Truck Series. Austin Dillon in the 3 to the outside wall.
Hey, Rick, that happened on lap 1.
Yeah, Kyle Busch involved in this incident. Spent a lot of laps behind the wall. Here's Ron Hornaday, our reigning champion, on the outside. Bump draft from Ricky Carmichael. Another 8 or 10 truck incident.
You can see Eric Almirola right up in the middle of it, and he's back on the lead lap.
Most recently, the 17 of Timothy Peters under the bumper, the 5 of Mike Skinner.
Wow.
47 different vehicles have been involved in accidents today between the Nationwide Series and the Camping World Truck Series.
That's an expensive little day-night doubleheader, isn't it?
Probably $1 million worth of damage.
Driver of the number 5 is with Krista.
Yeah, Rick, and the crew is thrashing behind us right now trying to get this truck back out there. And Mike, it's an art, bump drafting. Was there anything artistic about that?
Well, when the bumpers don't line up, it's pretty hard. And, you know, 17 and I had been working really well together, but he just gave me a little too much of a push there. And, you know, that's not what triggered it. What triggered it is we had another Toyota teammate out there 20 laps down pushing a Ford. That was the real problem. But I hate it for our international trucks, Monaco RVs, Toyota Tundra. Man, this truck was awfully good. We were just a little bit free. We were just getting ourselves in position for the end of the race. But, you know, it wasn't meant to be today.
Thanks, Mike.
There's been too many interviews from the garage tonight.
I'm glad Krista was able to stay around with us and cover that action in the garage.
We're getting down to it now, fellas. Although the action can't pick up, right?
Johnny Benson leading this race chose the outside line for the restart. Green flag back in the air.
And oh, by the way, the truck behind him, Matt Crafton, the 88 truck.
Nelson Piquet Jr. started on the inside of the front row at Daytona on a restart. I bet he's thinking, oh, me, this is a lot more fun than I thought it was.
What a nice job he's done.
Certainly is.
Carlos Contreras actually back in the 00 truck running in the 8th position. There's a name we haven't said yet.
Yeah, that's the red truck right there going past our camera.
Carlos was in that 2000 race the first time we came to Daytona, so he's a veteran. Hadn't run a lot lately, but he certainly knows his way around these tracks.
David Starr has received a pass-through penalty. He made a pass before you got to the start-finish line, which you can't do with the double file restart rules.
You see Jason White there in that orange and black truck. He drove up on the outside. The last time we saw him, he was in the wall in 3 and 4. Did some damage to his truck, but obviously it didn't do too much. He's up in the top 5.
Jason White passed 5 trucks that lap.
Again, Jason White so close to getting damage, but now it looks like that truck is racing up toward the front. How about Stacy Compton making the run on the outside?
Todd Bodine's going to he's going to make it 3 wide off of 4.
3 wide coming off of 4. That
2, I'm sorry, off of 2.
2 number, and that's normally what we see coming off of 4. Todd Bodine makes the power move on the bottom of the track, and he moves up to the top spot.
And he brought like 5 of his friends with him. Those guys went to the bottom and drug that whole line to the front.
Johnny Benson says, I was leading, and where'd all my friends go?
Yeah, Stacy Compton also is wondering what just happened.
Look at these guys.
Max Pappas moving up into the 6th spot now in that Geico Toyota Tundra.
There's Stacy Compton. Remember, Johnny Benson, Stacy Compton were side by side for the lead. What, 1 lap ago?
About a half a lap ago. And now Todd Bodine makes the power move to the bottom. Take a look at this.
Johnny gets to wobbling a little bit on the bottom field and took some of his momentum away, and Todd jumped on that opportunity. Went to the bottom, had Jason White right behind him.
Timothy Peters right behind Jason White, and they just drove by these guys like they were tied to a stump.
And Johnny's, like you said, he's saying, how many of them are there?
Here comes Timothy Peters. He doesn't want to follow. He wants to lead at Daytona.
How about Nelson Piquet Jr.? That's his teammate, that 1 truck on the outside.
This is fun to watch. Nelson Piquet Jr. doesn't know a lot about NASCAR. For sure. He warmed up last week in the ARCA race, and he's starring in this show tonight.
As I said earlier, only a 1 race deal right now with Red Horse Racing, and they would dearly love to race Nelson Piquet Jr. in some more of these Truck Series races.
On Thursday, he was walking through the garage introducing himself to the other drivers, saying, hey guys, I'd love to race with you guys, and by the way, my name's Nelson Piquet Jr. Adam.
Prior to that last caution, Rick, Jason White had dropped back out of that lead draft. He just wanted to be careful. He saw a lot of guys driving out of control. They warned him, don't lose the draft. Well, under the caution, they discussed the situation again. Jason said, I'm not concerned. I can drive right by these guys when I need to. He started on the pole, and with just over 30 laps to go, he's hanging in, running 2nd, Ray.
And Adam, you noticed about 3 laps ago, the 88 was right up front. Guess what? Where is he now? Just tilling around there in the back. Matt Crafton said, my truck's good enough. We'll be ready to go. Let me know when there's 7 or 8 laps to go. Until then, I don't want to be around that 2 wide racing.
Wow, that's a bold move to think you can just go up through there with 7 or 8 to go.
He's 6 seconds behind race leader, and I think he needs some help around this racetrack to get that type of gap closed.
He's a little bit over optimistic with that statement. Someone that has been very confident and has loved his truck and made bet anybody would bet him that he was going to be on the darn pole is Jason White. Look at him, 2nd spot right here late in the going.
Todd Bodine trying to make it 3 consecutive wins from the World Center of Racing. Out in front of the field once again, Daytona. Welcome back. TireMonkey.com driver Mario Goslin has brought out our 6th caution of the night. Look at the damage to the front of this race truck.
Yeah, tremendous amount of damage to that Chevrolet. He was racing well up into the top 10 in the lead draft.
It came by the start-finish line last time in 7th. He and Nelson Piquet were all wadded together for some reason. I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not.
Let's take a look.
See him on the outside.
On the inside of that.
See there, he just gets Nelson and then
Up the track he goes, and
that is so wild.
At first it looked like maybe he was going to, some pretty significant contact to the inside wall. Looks like he was trying to get in line behind him, and then he couldn't get in line, and then they may have got hooked together or something.
It's like it ran him up he got sideways a little bit there, and it runs him up the hill, and he just loses control. And look, this is a game of inches sometimes. This case it's a couple of feet, but darn, if he could have just missed it there, he had a lot more room to slide after that. That was weird looking, wasn't it?
Sure was. Tough break for Mario, though. Had a great run going on the heels of a great 6th place run at Talladega.
Check it out here. If he could just not hit there.
Whoa, and that thing hit hard,
too.
Head on.
Luckily, everybody did a good job of getting her locked down and keeping it from coming way up in the road. Tire monkeys.
There's Mario Goslin. Great sight.
Yeah.
Climbing out of that race truck. Take a look at this real time.
See if we can figure this out, Phil. They get together once, and maybe it just gets them up too high in the tri-oval.
We've seen cars go through the tri-oval, way up high like that before, right up against the walls.
It might have knocked him out to the right, and then when he's turning to the left to gain control, it just spun out with him.
Here's another look here. Remember, that's Nelson Piquet on the inside. Looks like I thought Mario was going to try to get in that hole right there. Didn't quite make it. Hard contact with the inside wall.
Hard to explain.
And again, great to see Mario Goslin climb out of that race truck.
Did a nice job of keeping those brakes held and not allowing that truck to slide back up into the outside wall in front of traffic.
You're exactly right. We've seen that so many times before, but Mario was able to keep it down.
Aaron's lucky dog will go to Taylor Malsom.
And right now he is 7 laps down, and it will get one of those back, and he'll be 6 laps down.
Taylor Malsom scored in the 19th position. Todd Bodine, Jason White, Timothy Peters, Max Pappas, and Stacy Compton are your top 5 at Daytona. Welcome back to the Nextera Energy Resources 250. Our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. DirecTV, change your life. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Coming up next on Speed, it is the final edition of Countdown to the Daytona 500. Joe Gibbs Racing, a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to prepare for the biggest race in stock car racing.
It's incredible how much preparation it takes to prepare a car or team for the Daytona 500.
You take so many things for granted, Phil, when you set up the stands and you watch these teams race, but there's not one detail that hadn't been gone over and over in preparation for trying to go out and win one of these NASCAR events, whether it's the trucks or the cars.
Lights still on the pace car. They have not been on pit road yet, but that is going to change now. Here comes the field, and they're coming at you, Ray.
Well, Rick, here's the big question. Do you think this will be the last pit stop? Todd Bodine doesn't believe so. Look at our triple pits on the top. It'll be a splash only for the Geico Toyota. In the middle is Jason White, and at the bottom you see a round of wedge going in the left rear for Timothy Peters. Let's go to Adam.
And it's a long trip down pit road for Jason White. He's the #1 pit stall at pit exit. 2 seconds of fuel. They said that would be all they need. They plug it. He pulls away. Todd Bodine got it. Bodine quickest off of pit road. Then it's Jason White. They will be 1-2 when the green flag goes back in the air.
So the field continuing to make their way off of pit road after some adjustments made. The most recent incident involving the 12 of Mario Goslin gets a little wild in the tri-oval and a hard shot on the inside wall. Welcome back. Nextera Energy Resources 250, closing in on the final 22 laps of this season opener. The leader at lap 77 has failed to win at Daytona in all 10 previous races. Guess who was leading?
Carlos Contreras.
Yeah, that's just not a good stat for Carlos Contreras.
But it's a good stat for Russell because he's jumping up and down over there like he hit the lottery. Russell's our stat guy. We've been hearing about this stat for 3 days.
3 days? We've been here for 365 days because he said it last year.
Again, we shined a few spotlights on a couple different drivers. Here is a recap of where they are running or maybe not even on the racetrack.
I'll tell you, I like my guy's chances. Nelson Piquet Jr. has done a terrific job this race.
As has Brett Butler. We got a couple of 24-year-olds that are just very competitive and doing a great job getting their legs under them and learning about what it takes to be competitive at Daytona. So it's fun to shine your light on someone and see them race all night long and follow their progress.
How about this front row on the restart? We have Carlos Contreras on the inside, the 00, and Donnie Neuenberger, who made a 180-mile-an-hour dash down pit road a few laps ago.
And right behind him, Todd Bodine.
They probably haven't done this too many times.
They probably have not led the field to the green flag. It's out in the air, and we're back to racing. Again, you can't pass until you cross the start-finish line, and right now Donnie Neuenberger is dropping back. Here comes Jason White on the outside. He will lead as they go into turn number 1.
Going to bring Max Pappas with him. Todd Bodine lined up right behind Max. Here is Johnny Benson in the 95 truck. Here comes Timothy Peters in the 17.
Field getting through turn number 2. Down the back stretch they go. Mario Goslin was checked and released at the infield care center.
Max is going for the lead with help from his teammate. Don't push him, Todd.
Oh, he's oh so close. Max Pappas out in front of the field. Now Todd Bodine goes to the high side of the racetrack.
And Johnny Benson's going to look under him.
We'll see if he tries to make the pass. He does. Here comes Johnny Benson, and a big run for Dennis Setzer behind him.
Those trucks, Benson got loose down there, Phil. Couldn't hold it and drifted up the track, opened the door, but he was able to get back to the back bumper of Todd Bodine and stay in second place.
That's where these 650 horsepower engines, they're able to recover so much better than a Sprint Cup car or a Nationwide car with all that horsepower.
You know, this race is typically, we've seen guys just run around that yellow line and stay in line and deal with each other at the end. That's not been the case tonight.
And again, that yellow truck, not even in your sight. Matt Crafton has dropped back. He doesn't want to be a part of any two-way racing until we get to about 10 laps to go. I mentioned Mario Goslin out of the infield care center. He's standing by with Krista.
And Rick, he is okay even after that hard hit. I know your sponsor is Tire Monkey, but it looked like your truck was getting a little squirrely there right before that hit. What happened?
Yeah, it's a shame. We had a fast truck. We lost third gear early, but we need all them fans out there that need tires for their cars and trucks to go to tiremonkey.com and buy some tires, because we're going to need some money to fix this truck. But no, it's a shame. We had a fast truck. We lost third gear early, and that kind of messed us up. But you know, I was trying to make something happen on the outside there, and you know, trying to side draft a little bit, and just the air kind of got me out of shape a little bit into the truck below me. And once we touched, you know, it just turned me, and just trying to make something happen on the outside. Nobody wanted to go with me, so I was trying to do it all on my own. But by tiremonkey.com, you know, Chevrolet Silverado was awesome. You know, we'd have probably finished top 5 pretty easy there, but it's pretty torn up now, so we need to sell some tires so we can fix it.
All right, thanks, Mario.
Look who's leading.
Dennis Setzer in front of the field at Daytona.
How about that?
Another guy that was here in 2000, Phil. Been here for many years racing this truck.
Every one of them, right?
Every one of them.
One of 4.
Oh, Wiggles goes below the yellow line. Now he can do that. He didn't improve his position, obviously.
Push down there. That's what happened.
And here comes Todd Bodine on the high side. He gets in front of the 60. Oh, tire smoke on David Starr's number 81. We saw that earlier. It looks like it's coming back. A problem for him.
He's still 14 laps down.
These guys are probably going to get frustrated with Kyle Busch.
We're getting into a little bit more bumping and banging here. That time it was Max Pappas into the 95 of Johnny Benson.
I think Skinner said something about him in his interview. And you know, when you're 18 laps down and you shove the leader out of the way, that's not cool. These guys are trying to win a race. He needs to pull over and get out of the way.
Side by side for the lead. Remember that 18 truck in front is Kyle Busch. He's many laps down.
17 now in front of the field.
Wow, Dennis Setzer got loose.
Sideways just behind the 18. Johnny Benson right behind him. On the outside, it's that 30 of Todd Bodine.
I'll tell you, if that's not a perfect illustration that these trucks are not easy to drive here, Michael.
No, we've seen that all night. That's why 20-some of them are over there, have been in a crash. Yeah, and just remember in practice, Phil, those trucks running second and third there, they both crashed.
Look at that outside line get a run, though. Todd Bodine leads them. Stacy Compton the 60 and Timothy Peters propelled Todd right by Kyle Busch.
Toyota Tundra's lining up. They've got the outside line pretty much dominated.
You know, we talk about Jason White's truck being a Roush Fenway truck that was Colin Brown's backup here in February. The truck Johnny Benson has, the 95 truck, is the actual truck that Colin Brown ran here in February.
Todd Bodine back in front. We have seen this so many times. Bodine leading at Daytona. Just behind him, Stacy Compton. We've got to slip away for one more break before we see the checkered flag at Daytona. Just as we hit the point of no return and headed for commercial, Max Pappas gets involved in our 7th caution of the night.
Easy. Okay.
We average that many, you know, Phil.
Yeah.
About 7 cautions in a race.
Let's take a look at what happened.
Watch Max on the outside.
It's like it's more of the bump drafting.
Going to be some more bump drafting. Is it Nelson Piquet
Nelson
Jr.?
Piquet Jr. in the number 1.
Wow. I just wish these guys had the advantage of watching all these replays and all these incidents. Max had such a great truck, had led this race, had raced up front, and unfortunately that Geico Toyota's not going to be around for the finish.
Both those guys raced a little bit of Formula One, Phil. I wonder if they ever had problems over there. You could see Nelson's front end was moving toward the inside of the track when he actually bumped Max, which certainly isn't the way to go about doing that.
Got a bit of a Formula One connection there. Obviously, 3-time world champion Nelson Piquet, father to Nelson Piquet Jr., and Emerson Fittipaldi, former world champion, I think maybe a 2-time world champion, is Max's father-in-law.
Luckily for us, that was just a one-truck accident. We've seen the other bump drafting accidents result in multiple trucks over in the infield.
Well, we're running out of trucks to involve in these incidents.
Again, rule changes for 2010. 6 men can go over the wall. You can change tires and fuel on a pit stop. They're working on 9 back onto the racetrack after such an impressive performance up to this point for Max Pappas. The field dwindling in the Camping World Truck Series first event.
We're down to 16 trucks on the lead lap right now.
We had the trend started on lap 1, Rick.
Yeah, 2 big wrecks, and this one was the first as they're entering turn number 3.
This is the only one that didn't have anything to do with bump drafting.
Austin Dillon gets a little bit squirrely, takes Johnny Sauter up into the outside wall. Kyle Busch gets a pretty good piece of it. Spends about 18 or 20 laps behind pit wall.
Got 9 trucks involved in that first one, as well as the second one. Here's the bump drafting by Ricky Carmichael in the 4.
And that just shows you how little of a hit can cause such a big mess.
Hornaday, Elliott Sadler involved in this one. Eric Almirola, who by the way is still on the lead lap.
And then Max Pappas involved in our 7th caution. A lot of damage to the right front. There's damage to the rear of that truck, and it looks as though they'll push it behind the wall to do some more work.
Yeah. We're gonna have to. These guys are gonna have to do a lot of work. So they
quickly.
How are we gonna get to Atlanta? I'm worried about getting everybody repaired to get over there.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can chat with our pole sitter, Jason
Austin
White.
Dillon coming back out on the track.
Hey, Jason White, Phil Parsons up in his speed booth. You have a copy?
I got you, Phil.
You've had that thing up front this entire race. You're running 6 right now, Jason. The laps are dwindling. Do you know what you need to do to get by those Toyotas up there?
Man, they're teaming up on me, but I think I got the truck to beat. I think we just got to put ourselves in the right position here, and I think we can do it.
Tell you, Jason, those trucks look like they are a handful out there. We see them jumping around, going through the bumps, and the bump drafting today has not worked at all.
Yeah, they are a handful, this new shock package, but man, the team has given me, this Gunbreaker.com Ford, the team's given me a great truck, and we'll see how it plays out here. We'll see if we got something for them.
All right, buddy, you've had a great run so far. Finish it off.
Thanks, Phil.
I guarantee you there's a whole restaurant full of people over in Cornelius, North Carolina. They're at Red Rocks that are cheering for Jason. They all gather there and support Jason. Everybody's a big fan of White because he's such a good dude, and he's got a lot of fans watching.
There'll be some Joe Gibbs Racing folks that'll probably be there watching the countdown to the Daytona 500. Joe Gibbs Racing, that's coming up next right here on Speed. The final episode as the 500 gets underway tomorrow. Ray.
Well, Rick, at the top of the show, I told you about this particular truck that Todd Bodine is driving. It's chassis number 58, and what an incredible pedigree it has. And Todd has said this thing has been perfect all night. They do have a set of sticker tires down here in the pits. I just asked Mike Hillman Jr. if he's going to get them. He said, we just got to play it out and see how it goes here. But right now, as good as Todd's been and happy as he is with that truck, we plan on possibly staying out. Adam?
And speaking of tires, Ray, Stacy Compton will restart second to the outside of Todd Bodine when the green flag goes back in the air. They did not want to save that set of tires. They wanted to put them on. They came for 4 tires and fuel at lap 76. His tires a little fresher than the others. We'll see if that pays dividends for that Truck Series veteran over the course of the last 13 laps.
Whew. I hope the bump drafting's over with.
I hope it is too, and I hope Todd Bodine don't plan on coming to get tires. He doesn't, does he?
Surely not.
It's only 13 laps to go, Rick.
Green flag back in the air. Todd Bodine, Stacy Compton, Timothy Peters, Dennis Setzer, Johnny Benson, your top 5 as they go toward turn number 1.
And let's watch Matt Crafton. He's been telling us his plan all night long. Let's see how that works out.
Surely he's not going to wait any longer. He's getting pretty racy right now.
Thinks he has a truck that can move to the front. We haven't seen it yet, but he's been laying back, hoping to avoid any incidents that might take place in front of him. And up to this point, it's worked.
A couple Toyotas hooked up front. Todd Bodine, Timothy Peters, the Ford of Johnny Benson right now running third. There's Jay White, another Ford side by side for the 4th position with Stacy Compton. Look at Matt Crafton up into the top 10 for the first time.
Crafton staying on the bottom line. He's the yellow 88 truck.
Right behind Nelson Piquet Jr. Great effort for the first time for Nelson Piquet Jr.
And Donnie Neuenberger just behind him in the number 6 truck. Also a great run for that team.
There's Eric Almirola. A lot of damage to that truck involved in that second incident, I believe, and still on the lead lap.
See Dennis Setzer looking down there under the yellow line, wondering what was going on ahead of him. As you see, the trucks are starting to bunch up. When you do that, you see a guy shoot to the outside, and that guy's Matt Crafton.
Matt Crafton making the run on the outside. How about that run for Crafton?
Still down there.
He needs some help, Rick. He needs somebody to get up there with him.
See Ron
Hornaday's back on the racetrack. You see a lot of damage to that truck. It was early for him when he had the problems, and you just heard him say still a lot of time. Still a lot of time being told to Matt Crafton. Crafton looking for his 2nd ever win in the Camping World Truck Series. His first came 2 years ago in Charlotte.
Had a great run on the outside going in turn number 3. Got by a couple 3 trucks, but now is stalled out, running side by side with Nelson Piquet Jr.
Elliott Sadler also on the racetrack. You see him on the left side of your screen. He's 21st, also numerous laps down.
Elliott was in that second big one with his teammate Ron Hornaday.
Your top 5 has spread out in the front of this field. The 46 of Dennis Setzer running 5th. And our pole winner in the 23 running in the 4th spot. Adam?
And you just mentioned Jason White in that bottom groove running in the 4th position. He said, let me know when the high lane starts coming. I'll jump out and go with him. I can make it work. 10 laps to go. We'll see if Matt Crafton can get up there, and if he can, if Jay White jumps in front of him and can use the draft to his advantage.
You know, I do pretty good for about 75, 80 laps, but my heart's beating like I'm out there driving because I know what lies ahead. These guys are going to have to start really taking some chances. We've seen innocent bump drafting cause crashes, but now we're going to see guys that are trying to win at Daytona, and that could cause the big one.
Crafton's going to pull up beside Dennis Setzer. He's gained a little ground. He's gained a couple truck lengths. Here goes Jason White to the outside.
Jay White has moved to the outside.
Ooh, I don't like that move. He didn't.
They didn't have enough momentum when he got there.
They weren't close enough to him. That wasn't a good one.
Michael, you want to catch your breath? Let's listen in to these trucks as they make their way around this 2.5-mile super speedway.
Can we talk again? It's making me nervous. It's making me more nervous watching without saying anything.
I heard you breathe it. I heard you breathe it.
I like let me say that I like what Jason White did. He took a chance, he got it. I don't like when he did it, but I like what he did. And as he marches around here, he's starting to gain it back now. He's all the way up to Johnny Benson.
Oh, Benson sideways, able to save it. Matt Crafton avoiding now. Jason White goes down to the bottom. We'll see if Crafton follows him.
He tried to, but there wasn't a hole there.
Bump draft by PK into Dennis Setzer.
46 of Setzer, a little squirrely.
Jason White got down on the side of Johnny Benson there off turn 2, Phil, and called Johnny to get loose. Worked out great for Jason. He picked up a spot. Now he's third.
Stacy Compton behind the 88s of Matt Crafton. Crafton trying to time it out just right to get that run to get to the front. 7 laps of racing to go at Daytona.
How about Brett Butler, your spotlight guy running there
He's
in
in
a
the
battle
lead.
for the top 10.
He's in the lead draft, man, trying to win a race.
J.J. Yaley, also brand new race team. J.J. Yaley battling for a top 10 run in that 01 truck, the black and blue one.
Currently running in the 11th spot, trying to break into that top 10. Again, the outside line being led by the 88 of Matt Crafton. He has laid back this entire race. There's a closer look at that 01 of J.J. Yaley.
Going to go to the outside of Brett Butler. See Johnny Benson behind him. Look at all the ground Johnny lost when he got sideways 2-3 laps ago.
You know, if you think about Brett Butler, he qualified back in 27, and to be able to hang around and be a part of the top 10 here with just 6 to go at Daytona, 24-year-old kid hadn't ever seen this place before. This is valuable for him to see all this.
How about Donnie Neuenberger? Really impressed with him. He's just outside the top 5 in that red and white number 6 truck.
There's so many good stories up here in the top 10 as we race toward that checkered flag, but the best story is going to be what these guys up front do. Dennis Setzer's hood's flopping loose there.
That 46 of Dennis Setzer.
Remember, he had damage from that practice crash a couple of days ago.
I hope that thing will hang in there for a few more laps to get a chance to try to win this thing.
Setzer running in the 4th spot. Out in front, Todd Bodine. Timothy Peters just behind him in the 17.
See the hood there? It's precarious. It might hold in there, Phil. It's going to be close.
Looks like it still has at least 4 pins in it. That should hold it.
You know, we saw Todd Bodine jump a little high off turn 4 there. You got to stay down there on that yellow line to hold that lead.
Into the wall coming out of turn number 4. One of the trucks got into the wall. Now he makes the hard left turn. That's the 39 of Ryan Sieg.
Still staying green, guys.
He is off the racetrack. Green flag still out.
NASCAR's looking at the racetrack. Still green as of now. They'd love to let this thing finish under green. 5 to go.
Todd Bodine out in front of Timothy Peters. Then it's Jason White, Dennis Setzer, and still trying to make the outside line work is Matt Crafton in 5th.
Do you think Matt Crafton, if he's not able to advance any farther, is he going to say that maybe I waited too long?
Certainly a possibility.
Ray, is the 30 strategy going to work out to win another race at Daytona?
Well, I think they're in the catbird seat there, Rick, no doubt about it, but I wish you could hear Todd Bodine's radio. His spotter is Jimmy Kitchens, and Jimmy's been driving for about 15 years. He's so calm and matter of fact, giving him the information. He had told him about Jason White going to the outside. He told him where that second line was working. Very good information coming down from the roof to help Todd Bodine know what's going on behind him when he's out in the front of the lead. Adam?
A little surprising, but for a young driver, Jason White has been a good leader on his radio, and he just came and said, if the 46 will go with me, he will get a Christmas card, referring to Dennis Setzer, who's right behind him, as once again the outside lane starts to rally.
Yeah, Dennis can't go anywhere right at the moment, Adam. They're coming up the outside with Matt Crafton, Nelson Piquet Jr., and Brett Butler pushing hard toward the lead.
Dennis Setzer looked like he might think about peeking in front of that number 1. Here comes Dennis Setzer. He makes the move. 3 laps of racing to go to the outside of that 23. Not going to be able to make it work. Drops back in line, back to 4th. Jason White holding on to the 3rd spot.
Todd Bodine hugging the double yellow line. Just as you mentioned, Mike, he doesn't want to leave an opening down there.
No, he needs those guys right there, PK and Crafton, really need someone to try to make something happen up there in the front.
This lead pack has separated themselves from the rest of the field, making their way around the 2.5-mile Daytona International Speedway, coming to the line for just 2 laps of racing to go.
Half car way back to the 17. He's got the 23 and 46.
Oh, Crafton lost a lot of ground there. Now he's hung in behind Stacy Compton. Look at Johnny Benson, 3 wide on the outside.
Nelson Piquet Jr. in the middle. He's able to get back down to the bottom of the racetrack. It's 2 wide back behind. Down the back stretch once again. Time is running out for Timothy Peters, for Jason White, for Dennis Setzer. When will they make their move?
You know, last year Kyle Busch was sitting right where Timothy Peters is, and he couldn't figure out how to win this darn thing. We'll see if Peters and White and those guys can figure out anything to do with Todd Bodine.
A huge run for Stacy Compton in the 60. It looked like that 88 of Matt Crafton gave him a good push.
And then he jumped to the inside behind Setzer.
The white flag in the air. 1 lap of racing to go. Todd Bodine trying to make it 3 in a row from Daytona. Timothy Peters wants to win on a super speedway, running second.
Still in line.
Timothy Peters it'd be ideal if he was a truck length or two behind him, Phil. He can't get a run stuff right on his bumper. He'll just push Todd.
He needs some momentum.
Down the backstretch. Jason White moves out of line. Timothy Peters moved out. Todd Bodine scrapes the wall. Timothy Peters goes to the bottom of the racetrack to take the lead.
Todd got hit, went high, but kept his foot in the gas. Can he rally from the outside?
Jason's helping him on the outside.
Side by side, coming through 3 and 4. The trial is all that is left. A little contact. Timothy Peters is wild coming up to the line. Timothy Peters is going to win at Daytona.
Oh,
they crashed behind him. Todd Bodine crossed the stripe in second, got sideways, and now Johnny Benson is in him.
Wow.
What a great job by Timothy Peters.
Timothy Peters took advantage of Todd Bodine sliding up the racetrack.
He got knocked up the racetrack.
And Todd Bodine comes home in second. Timothy Peters wins at Daytona.
Unbelievable. We talked about him coming into his own last year. Well, he put an exclamation point on it tonight.
The 46.
Thanks, guys. It was a great experience.
Yeah, I guess.
Nelson Piquet Jr. finishes 6th. Matt Crafton, with his strategy, comes home in the 5th position. Jason White, our pole winner, was 4th.
Donnie Neuenberger shot down pit road 180 miles an hour, rallied to finish 9th. Great top 10 finish for him, just outside the top 10, Brett Butler at 11.
Let's
check
take a
this
look
out
at this crowd coming out of turn number 2.
Jason White made the first move. I applaud him for this. He got a run. He said, I'm going somewhere. Timothy said, well, I want to go with you. And he gets Todd, hits Todd in the back, sends Todd up high.
Todd fought back, though, never let off the throttle.
What about Todd? Sideways, heading toward the outside wall. Wide open, baby.
Thought maybe right here Todd might have had an advantage on the outside, but he went a little bit wide, lost about a half a truck length.
And then the reason why Timothy won, look, Dennis Setzer, he's pushing him, giving him the momentum he needed to stay ahead of Todd Bodine.
Another amazing finish from Daytona International Speedway.
That was amazing, Rick, you're right.
And Timothy Peters goes to victory lane in Daytona.
Hey, he knows how to pick them. He lives in Martinsville. He won there. Daytona's the biggest race. Heck, I'll just win there. Those are 2 wonderful wins for that kid. I know DW's smiling too. 17's his favorite number. Every time somebody on the 17 wins, he thinks he had something to do with it.
Another look as they came out of turn number 2 and down the backstretch.
Jason White moves to the outside. Timothy goes to block him, and when he did, he just touched Todd. Todd may have even been going up to the outside to block as well.
You got that right. Todd went up to block. That's how it's supposed to work right there. Everybody just trying to get the real estate that they need to win. Nothing wrong with that racing.
Timothy Peters grabs his 2nd win in the Camping World Truck Series, and how big of a victory this is.
And I thought Todd was going to save that truck right there, and that was going to be an incredible save.
Look at Todd. He's over there trying to get a hold to the side of Timothy Peters to try to side draft him, but Dennis Setzer is right on Timothy's tailgate, pushing him to the victory.
I bet you Timothy's saying, boy, I'm glad Dennis was bump drafting me there. What do you think?
That's right.
That is the 3rd last lap pass at Daytona International Speedway for the Camping World Truck Series. In 05, Bobby Hamilton did it over Jimmy Spencer.
Look at that wad of trucks. Maybe they weren't 3 wide at the finish, but there was how many trucks within a second?
Well, there were 10 trucks within a half a second.
Yeah, 10
within
trucks.
a half a second, 10 trucks crossed the start-finish line.
Look at this. This is a great shot. Check this out.
There's Timothy. Here comes Todd and Dennis. Almost a photo finish for second. Look at Jason White all up underneath the Todd's truck. And there's Crafton. Nelson Piquet Jr., Stacy Compton. There's Johnny Benson. Johnny's going to take a ride through the grass here in just a second. There's Donnie Neuenberger. J.J. Yaley on the outside with a new team. And there's Brett Butler in 11th place finish.
Look at this glob. You're right, Phil. What a great finish. And Russell smiles.
It does not. It never ceases to amaze me what happens at this racetrack. Adam Alexander.
Back-to-back win for Todd Bodine at Daytona and just missed 3 in a row. What was the difference at the end, Todd?
No difference. I mean, you know, you're sitting duck leading. I saw the replay as I sat down there in the mud. Timmy just did it right. You know, he went the outside. I had to block, and he came back under. It was a great crossover move. I mean, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. You know, the truck was fast. I mean, it was a race of survival tonight. You know, we got that flat tire. Got fortunate to get right on pit road. Didn't lose a lap.
Here's the replay.
Yeah, here's the replay. Yeah, it's just, he got in the back of me, got me up. I was going to come back down, but you know, he did what he had to do. He's a great race car driver. He's a good kid, and if I had to lose, he's a good one to lose to. But the Geico Tundra was fast, fast like it always is. Drives great, runs fast. So, you know, it's disappointing for sure, but it's a great way to start the year with a second. It's a good points race. And I know a lot of the other points guys had problems, so you know, it was a good night.
Disappointed, but still smiling as Todd Bodine, but I would guess his smile not near as big as Timothy Peters, Ray Dunlap.
And here he comes out the Gatorade shower. I've never seen one quite like that. The K&N Filters Tundra sits in victory lane here at Daytona. Win number 2. What a way to start out the season. A grandfather clock was nice, but how about this? You're a victory lane in Daytona.
I can't believe it. I can't thank this K&N Filters Crescent Toyota Tundra enough, man. I tell you what, Arrington Engines, Jeff Hensley did a great job. This pit crew right here, all this Red Horse Racing team, I can't believe it. This thing drove like a Lexus tonight. I'm telling you what, I just, I want to say hey to Steve Stallings sitting back at home. I love you, man. He broke his leg. He had surgery Friday. And our hearts are with Steve Morgan, our engine tuner. His son went overseas. He's in the Marines. They launched a big attack, and he hadn't heard from him. So we're keeping our fingers crossed, hoping we hear from him. But I can't thank Tom DeLoach for giving me the opportunity. We just won Daytona.
Yes, you did. How about that on a last lap pass, the 3rd time that's happened here? Did you have a strategy going into that final lap?
I was just content to where I was at, but the 23 came up, gave me a good run. I went high, the 30 went up. We all just kind of creamed up together, and I couldn't believe it. I just want to say that I had a deal with Skinner to work all night long, and a little rookie mistake part, and I'm sorry for what I did, but I just can't believe it. I'm going to Disney World.
All right. Sarah comes in here. Tom DeLoach is here. The celebration is underway. Timothy Peters with win number 2.
There will be smiles on the faces all night long. Timothy Peters wins at the World Center of Racing. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World, introducing the all-new Coleman Travel Trailers, now available at Camping World. By Dish Network, why would you ever pay for more TV? And by CiCi's Pizza, home of the endless pizza, pasta salad, and dessert buffet. Celebration continues as Timothy Peters will hoist the Nextera Energy Resources 250 trophy. What a memory this will be for him.
You don't want to leave there, you know, Rick.
No. Let's take a look at tonight's Stay in the Game with Just for Men hair color moment.
Well,
coming off of turn number 4.
Timothy Peters stayed in the game. This is coming off of turn number 2 right here.
Timothy said he is committed to Todd. He was just going to push him. But when he saw this run Jason White came up with, he said he had to change his
I got to
plan.
go. I got to move up. When he moved up, Todd moved up a little bit. They made a little contact. Timothy did the crossovers. Todd stayed right there, but Timothy stayed on the throttle, and Dennis Setzer was going to come up and give him a shove.
Yeah, I think if Todd could have stayed there, he would have had a shot. But look, he flew way up the track, couldn't hold his truck straight, and he gave up too much momentum.
Stayed in the game. Stay in the game with Just for Men hair color.
Whew, that's fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't even over when it was over.
It kept going. Adam Alexander.
Starting on the pole, finishing fourth is Jason White. I know you would have loved to have won this thing, so what was your game plan on the final lap?
You know, I wanted to get him on the backstretch, and I got a heck of a run. Timothy made a great move that went high, and I gave him a heck of a shot, pushed him to the win, so I was glad to see him win. We used to race go-karts together, so that's pretty cool to see him win. But, yeah, I mean, we had a great truck. These guys did a heck of a job, and, you know, shame we didn't get it, but we had a good run, qualified on the pole, so it was a good night.
Great start to 2010. Congratulations.
Hey, man, thanks a lot.
Still smiling. Jason's still smiling. He did a great job.
I like that move he made. He made something happen, you know?
That's right.
Official results for the first event, 2010 season. Timothy Peters grabbing the win. That's the fourth time a Tundra has gone to victory lane.
How about Matt Crafton? He hung around the back of the pack the entire race, and I'm not sure at the end of this race he may say I waited too long.
This is our Polaris unofficial results for the Nextera Energy Resources 250 as we look at the second 10.
Of those top 10 finishers, only 2 of them started in the top 10. And our average starting position for our top 10, a little bit over 18.
That's incredible.
That just tells you how much these guys mixed it up tonight.
Look at all these point contenders. Mike Skinner, Kyle Busch had trouble. Mike Skinner, Ron Hornaday, Rick Crawford, all involved in accidents.
And early accidents. Landon Castle, Johnny Sauter involved in the first lap incident. Adam Alexander.
How about the underdog run of the night? Dennis Setzer and this team came together late in the going, a practice crash, all that, and you're still able to finish third. What'd you see on that wild final lap?
It was just in line going down the back straightaway. They fanned out too wide. I got behind the 17 and give him a little shove coming off 4 right here. And, you know, Todd and I bounced off each other a couple times there. He got loose coming up to the line, but just good racing. You know, I just appreciate the opportunity from Danny Gill. Danny and I had some good times back quite a few years ago. He was with me at Morgan Dollar Motorsports. We won quite a few races, and now he owns his own team. So pretty impressive start for Gill Motorsports.
Dennis Setzer, Danny Gill, names that have been around this series for a long time, and they got it done tonight.
Timothy Peters goes across the start-finish line straight, and finishing second, going sideways across the start-finish line, was Todd Bodine. Nothing better than the feeling of hoisting the checkered flag and the trophy in victory lane at Daytona International Speedway.
He got a little bit of a bath, didn't he?
He did.
Let's ride along with the guy who finished second in this race and really listen in.
His rear wheels were off the ground before he got to the start-finish line.
And he never lifted.
He never lifted.
He had his foot on the floorboard. I guess you guarantee he's gritting his teeth, hanging on.
He was going to make sure that he was on the throttle when he got to the start-finish line.
Let's go back trackside to Adam Alexander.
ThorSport Racing lost 2 trucks in the early portion of this race. Matt Crafton was very good throughout the evening. You kind of laid low, and it paid off there at the end.
That's all I did is lay low. I mean, Armenard's Herculiner Chevy was, I mean, it was good, but it wasn't great. And so that's our whole plan. All weekend thing just didn't have as much speed in as we thought it should have for whatever reason it was, and we just rode it. That was one of the hardest races I've ever had to do, just sit there and ride around and not go up there and race and just let everybody just take themselves out and do everything that they did, and then go race with 15 to go. That was our plan with 15 to go. Where's contact? Just go, go, go. And I mean, it was kind of aggravating. We got blocked up there on the bottom, tried to make the outside work, but all in all, not a bad day. I mean, it was really discouraging to see Johnny Sauter and Landon Castle get wrecked on the first lap, because that was our whole plan. All of us were going to fade and just kind of ride together and save it till the end. If I'd have had a teammate, because there wasn't any Chevy Silverados that were left at the end, I was being ganged up on by all these Toyotas. So I mean, I was waiting to get a push by a Chevy, but there wasn't any left with me. So that's what was so discouraging with Johnny not being there.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
What a beautiful facility for the first event of the 2010 season. It all gets kicked off right here, and a 29-year-old from Providence, North Carolina goes to victory lane. What a memory this will be for him.
For me, I love these darn races. You can't predict what's going to happen. We heard Timothy P. couldn't predict what was going to happen. We heard him say in victory lane, I was pretty content just to push Todd. But then he saw Jason White coming, and he said, well, if he can do it, I'm going to try it. What a great finish.
And Todd said he was a sitting duck leading, but I don't think he would want to be in any other position at that point, but he did a great job. He did what he had to do. When he saw those guys coming to the outside, he went to the outside to block and unfortunately made contact with Timothy. But still, a great recovery to finish second because he hit the wall on the backstretch.
Yeah, what about all the wrecks we had? I mean, that wreck on the first lap took out guys that could certainly win the race. And then we saw some bump drafting that went bad. So those were disappointing moments during the course of the evening. But even though we only had a few guys left, they sure were determined. And it was so fun to watch them race to that checker.
When we started this show off, you said the 2000 truck race was your favorite memory. You
2003.
said 2003. I said maybe 2010 will be the memory that we'll all come away from this one. And I tell you what, it was living up to its billing.
I bet you Timothy Peters is going to remember this one.
It's his favorite one for sure.
The next stop for the Camping World Truck Series will be in Atlanta. Coming up next, it's the countdown to the Daytona 500, Joe Gibbs Racing. There are a lot of trucks that didn't get to the checkered flag tonight, but most importantly, Timothy Peters wins race number 2 of his career right here at Daytona.
Kyle Busch has won 4 of the 10 Truck Series races at Atlanta Motor Speedway. But can he win with his own truck? Find out in 3 weeks when the trucks take to one of the fastest tracks on the circuit. You won't want to miss 1 second of the action, starting with the setup at 1:30, only on Speed. Be there.